I'm about tired of this little attitude you got. Every time they go to testify, you talking over them, and the only thing it looks like to me is that you don't want me to hear what they're saying because they telling the truth. But you over there sniffing up at this little girl at work, letting her buy you food and pay your phone bill. Now you here in this courtroom. Don't be mad at nobody but yourself, baby.
There was a lot of emotion tied to this particular case. Ms. Stockley was in court because she felt so much guilt, and it had started to get to her heart. She claimed the guilt was there as a result of her claiming the wrong man to be her daughter's biological father for over 23 years.
Miss Stokely, you say you feel pain and guilt in your heart for claiming the wrong man was your daughter, Whittier's biological father, for the past 23 years. You were here to right your wrong and now prove to the defendant that he is her dad. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tucker, you say you were first told you were Whittier's dad only a few months ago. You and your daughter, Candace, say there is no way today's DNA will reveal you are Whittier's biological father. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I don't know nothing about that, Your Honor.
Mr. Stokely's daughter claimed she could remember when she was just 8 years old and met Mr. Tucker, but at the time she didn't know who he was. All she could remember was that he told her his name and gave her some money.
Only saw Whittier since she was 8 years old, and that was it.
Whittier, you remember seeing Mr. Tucker when you were 8 years old?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe that encounter for the court?
Yes, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember I was coming out of the store and we bumped into this guy, and this guy looked down over top of me and looked me in my face and said, "Do you know who I am? My name Willie." And I said, "How, Mr. Willie?" And he said, "No, tell her who I am." And then...
Well, Mr. Tucker had another daughter, and she was with him in the courtroom. She claimed she was confused about the whole situation. She claimed she knew about Miss Stockley's daughter when she was 8 years old, but was too young to make sense of what her daddy told her.
I'm just sitting here because I'm just completely confused. My whole thing is I did hear about her when she was 8. I was with my dad at that time, and then I did meet her again, but it's just like she's saying that she's so sure that this is my dad's child, but why wait 23 years? And like it's basically like I will miss out on the whole sister. I've been around all my other sisters and brothers.
Do you believe that Miss Stokely is your sister?
No, because my dad, he loved his children, and if he had a possible child, I'm quite sure he would have said, "This is your sister," and we would have been a family.
Now, how did they find themselves in this big pot of confusion? That was what this was, honestly. Ms. Tucker claimed that she had been living with her ex-boyfriend for some time. When she wanted to move out, she was held back by a snowstorm and got stuck with Mr. Tucker.
Was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and I wasn't sure. I got stuck in a snowstorm with Mr. Tucker.
Okay.
And I had sex with both males. But I don't know if I went in the snowstorm pregnant, I got pregnant in the snowstorm.
Or if you came out of the snowstorm pregnant.
I'm not sure. Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure how I went in.
Okay, but the bottom line is that's when you were with Mr. Tucker.
After doing the math, the window of conception showed that there was a chance that Mr. Tucker could actually be the father of Ms. Stockley's child. But the problem now was that Mr. Tucker wasn't the only one she was sleeping with.
So this is going to help us determine whether or not Mr. Tucker is truly a possible biological father for Whittier. Whittier, when is your birthday?
December the 2nd, 1993.
December the 2nd, 1993. Put in your birth date into this conception calculator and push calculate. The window of conception would be March 12th to March 18th.
Another revelation popped up in the courtroom. Miss Stokely never told Mr. Tucker that he could be the father to her child, even though she was always seeing him in passing. But she mentioned the fact that when she was in Mr. Tucker's neighborhood, his family relatives would always refer to her daughter as their niece, asking where she was and saying that they wanted to see her.
See him like in passing, because like I said, he would come to my neighborhood, I would go to his neighborhood, I still had an auntie live on his block. His sisters, they would say to me, "Where my niece at? Where my little niece at? Where my niece at?"
His family members would say, "Where my little niece at?"
Yes.
No, Your Honor, her mom, her friends, everybody in her neighborhood, when I be going to work, they was like, "Willie, Zakia, you know that." Whittier. That's the problem. I really don't know them like that.
He really do.
No, I don't.
He really do.
Listen,
make his
even
sister.
my daughter, I know Candace Tucker.
Before you know what's up, they get into an argument about who cut who off and who did not. Mr. Tucker claims Ms. Stockley didn't want him to be involved in her daughters. Mr. Tucker, on the other hand, claims claims that it was Ms. Stokely who did not want him to see her child.
So, Miss Stokely, is it
Yes.
your testimony that he knew the possibility?
He knew.
But you feel like he did not put forth an effort?
No.
So you went about your business of being mother and father.
At the time, I was still with my ex. So I couldn't go to Mr.
that's
Tucker
not
and say, well, you know what? This is your daughter, this and the third. I see him from time to time, all the time.
But why shut me out?
I never shut you out.
Yes, you did.
What?
The courtroom had seen enough of Mr. Tucker and Ms. Stokely's drama about who the biological father of her daughter was. It was finally time to reveal the truth and put an end to the endless argument they both didn't want to stop.
Mr. Tucker, you are the father.
All right.
This is why I wake up in the morning and I cannot wait to come to my job. Because I want you to stand in this courtroom and I want you to point at Whittier and I want you to say the line that she has been waiting for you to say. And you know what it is?
This is my daughter.
Ms. Cousin and her mother had one goal in that courtroom. That was to prove to her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend that he was the father of her child. Trust me, these guys weren't here to play. From the looks on both their faces, they were ready to fight till there was no more strength in them.
Others say you had no choice but to drag the defendant, Mr. Bell, into court today because you're fed up with his lies.
Yes,
He denies being the father of your 7-month-old son, Taquan, and has even gone to the extreme by blocking all contact with you. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bell, you say that Miss Cousin has told you that you are not Taquan's father and say she's trying to use this baby to bust up your 6-year relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Everyone in that courtroom was tense. Ms. Cousin's mom was a force not to be reckoned with. She had all the power in the world to fight anyone who wronged her and her daughter. She wasn't the one who was hurt, but she sure was doing all the talking in that courtroom.
His lies because he a two-time liar. He told my daughter
This
that
you
he
want-
was
about you want a
single,
baby, though.
that he was not in a relationship.
Why you can't
I know he was in
let
a
her
relationship
talk, man?
with her
You want the child?
because I seen his picture on her phone when she started
Who is
being
about?
with him. I seen how her attitude changed.
Who did I sleep
I
with,
knew
you or her?
then that she was pregnant.
Who did I sleep with, you or her?
I met you. I met you at a relative house.
Apparently, Mr. Bell lied to his daughter and told her he was not in any relationship. But deep down, he had been seeing someone else. Mr. Bell was definitely not going to keep quiet while they dragged his name through the mud.
We went out once, but that was it. A whole weekend? No. I had to get back to her.
You went out once, a whole weekend, yes. And then not only that, y'all had
Can't
lunch
she let
together
her
at
daughter
work.
talk?
I
She
searched
wasn't
her
there?
room. I go in her room. I found receipt with 2 combos on it. I asked her what the combos for. She for him and her. You know, at the
Oh,
end of
2
the day.
combos
Meal
for
for
lunch.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Bell wasn't just sleeping with her. He was also using her to sort out some of his bills. Ms. Cousin was furious. She couldn't understand why a man would lie to her daughter and still manipulate her into paying his bills.
When she should have been.
Were you
taking that
paying
money
his phone
helping
bill?
us. Yes. While she was paying his phone bill and paying him, buying him lunch, I was also doing other things for me and my husband have a roof over our head. We don't have no other income, but what my husband do is work. And at the end of the day, I want Cortez to step up and take the responsibility and be a man and help take care of his son.
Mr. Bell wasn't changing his story. He stood firm with his side of the story and said everything they accused him of was a big fat lie. There was no relationship between them, and all he did was flirt with her and eat whatever food she offered him, nothing more. He even went as far as saying they had sex in the car, and she never visited his house. Wow.
No.
Well, you said you already ate the food because she was buying it.
Yeah, she offered.
So, Mr. Bell, you said this was a one-time thing when you had sex with...
In a car.
Oh, okay, so you had sex in a car. Did you use protection?
Yes.
No lie.
Yes.
No lie.
Miss Cousin and her mom, they're claiming that this was going on. This was an ongoing relationship. That's not true?
No.
Yes, it is true, Your Honor.
Destiny, I see the tears in your eyes. What are you feeling right now?
Because he lied. No, he lied. Why would you lie on me for no reason?
When Ms. Cousin's daughter found out she was pregnant, she called Mr. Bell to tell him about it, and on the spot, he denied the pregnancy, saying it couldn't be his, and he wanted nothing to do with the baby.
When I came home, I called him. I said, I'm pregnant. He said, oh, well, call me back. Let me know what you gonna do. And that was it, and he hung up the phone.
Did you tell your manager at work?
I told my manager because that's the day that my back was hurting. She said
And she
you could
told
go.
me the baby wasn't mine. I don't want
Why
the
is
baby by
you-
you anyway.
Wait,
She
he
told
just
me-
said that you told him the baby wasn't his.
He's supposed to lie. All he do
No,
is
you-
lie.
It was turning into an unending catastrophe in the courtroom. The judge had taken enough of their rants and arguments, and she decided it was time to bring the situation to a close by reading out the DNA results. Who do you think the father of the child would be? Mr. Baker or his so-called best friend?
Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You silent now?
I'll
It's
take
silent.
my child support papers in the mail.
You've been chirping off all day.
All
It
day.
is what it-
You could not let them get a sentence out
Mm-hmm.
without
what it is.
downplaying everything they said. Everything.
You got two innocent women standing here,
Both of them crying.
sad and hard.
And you got
because
your
you
hands
played the
behind your
game.
back and your body language is saying you could care less.
Mr. Sedeno was in the courtroom today to clear his name from the allegations of his being a father. He believed he was done with Ms. Ramirez and no longer had any feelings for her. He even climbed, and she was trying to pin the baby on him just so she could have him back in her life.
Mr. Cedeno, you are seeking the results of a paternity test for Ms. Ramirez's 1.5-month-old daughter, Aislinn. You claim you two broke up and now you have no feelings for Ms. Ramirez whatsoever. You say she's claiming you are her baby's father in a...
Apparently, Mr. Sedeno was Ms. Ramirez's everything, from her first love to her first boyfriend, and basically everything after that. She was pretty hurt that he would want to deny her and her daughter, and also claim she was trying to pin a baby they brought welcomed into this world in him. If I were in her shoes, I would also feel very betrayed.
I'm very shocked. I'm very hurt that he would even deny her. He's my first love. He's my first boyfriend, my first everything. And I'm tired of him sending me mixed signals. He comes to my house and he tells me he doesn't love me. He doesn't want to be with me, but yet he's always trying to hug up on me. He tries to sleep with me. And I've even tried to prove it. I've proved it multiple times to his girlfriend, you know?
What you're about to hear will definitely make you ask if Ms. Ramirez was a child, because only kids would do something so petty. Apparently, Ms. Ramirez was in contact with his girlfriend. After she and Mr. Sedeno had split up, she told his new girlfriend that she was going to sleep with him, regardless of the fact that he was in another relationship.
I told her that I was going to sleep with him, and she told me to prove it. So when we were having sex, I called her on the phone so that she could hear.
What? Wait a minute. You got on the phone with his girlfriend. I
Yes.
gotta get this. You said, I'm gonna have sex with my ex, which is your current boyfriend.
Yeah, because I
She
would...
said, prove it.
With a smile on his face, Mr. Cadeno didn't deny that it happened, but that wasn't his focus in the courtroom. He was here to talk about his doubts about the child Ms. Ramirez claimed was his. It was pretty funny because Mr. Sedeno and Ms. Ramirez were still very intimate while he still had a girlfriend.
I was with my girlfriend when it did, and I have pretty much my list of doubts of why I pretty much think Aislinn's not mine.
So, despite the fact that you're admitting that you do still sleep with Ms. Ramirez, even though you're in...
Mr. Sedeno couldn't even keep his stories in check. Funny enough, the child in question wasn't the only child he had with Ms. Ramirez. He had 2 other kids in the equation, but was very certain that the current child in question was definitely not his. I mean, how does that make sense in any way?
I had pretty much fallen victim that day.
You felt victim.
How are you falling a victim when you're the one that initiates
Felt
it?
victim.
He's the one that initiates it.
You admit to having sex with her,
Yes.
but you claim the child in question, Aislinn, is not yours.
Now the time and dates don't add up.
Mr. Cadeno had a long list of doubts that made him feel he couldn't be the father of her 3rd child. He claimed the pregnancy happened way too fast, and he was sure the period they both had sex didn't add up to her getting pregnant.
Like there was a year difference between my son and my daughter, and then she had this 3rd kid, which I wasn't even around her that much long of a time to even for me to be the father. And if I was, why wouldn't she put me on the...
So you're saying that when you were with her, when you all were in a relationship, it took a year to conceive your first child?
Yes.
It was a blaming contest in the courtroom, and they were very good at playing it. Ms. Ramirez claimed he never enjoyed spending time with her kids. She said every time he came to pick them up, he was always so eager to drop them off. Why? Because his current girlfriend didn't want him to spend any time with her.
So I'm more comfortable with him watching them at my house. And what's the point of taking them if you want to return them? He'll say, okay, I'm gonna take them for a few
since
days.
we're asking questions, I have one for you. If he's not that responsible for the 2 that you already have with him and you don't trust them with him, why in the world are are you trying to have another baby?
The cats started to fly out of the box, and Ms. Ramirez started to come clean about why she had actually decided to get pregnant. She was very jealous of Mr. Cedino's new girlfriend, and the moment she found out she was pregnant, she decided to have his child too. Basically, she wanted him to focus all his attention on her.
Okay, maybe my super conscious mind. I did it to get back at her, which is, I feel bad for it. I love my daughter and I got pregnant for the wrong reasons, but that's why I did it.
So is that why you had an ovulation calendar?
You admitted to the court that you
I
keep
have an ovulation calendar because I keep track of my monthly cycle.
There's no reason an innocent child should be suffering because of the mistakes adults make. At this point, you sort of feel sorry for the little child in question. Anyway, it's time to see what the DNA results say about all of this.
Mr. Cedeno, you are her father.
I told you, she is your baby. Now you can't deny her. She's your kid.
You look surprised.
A little bit.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's how I know you were the father. I had no doubt in my mind.
What would you do if you saw a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family. Let's hear what brought him into this mess.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life.
As a result of being alleged the father of Aubrey, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family? You were married at the time? Explain.
Yes, Your Honor, I was married and me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch. Through my separation, I became a little antsy, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Wow. A brief separation gave him the pass to sleep with another woman. It turned out that in no time he was up to jiggery-pokery with Miss Davis. Yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl because his family was at stake.
We was never together.
Almost 2.5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I was married, Your Honor. I mean,
married, but
it just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation?
Yes, ma'am.
That you want to try to put the family back together?
Further, the defendant claimed that they had been in a committed relationship for 2 years. The man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain. Yet blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my. What type of man is he?
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5 years we was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
you might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did, a child.
And so why did you think you were in a relationship, Ms. Davis?
He stated that multiple times.
Was he telling you there was going to be a future?
Yes.
The next Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So he put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
Then I asked her to let me tell my wife, and of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her. Because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do. I felt I needed to do.
Like 2.5 years, how we're not together?
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be. But it was never, and it was.
Well, aren't you speaking a word this afternoon?
I'm not saying.
So basically you're admitting that you just lying?
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Oh man, are you out of your mind? He has no control over his desires, and yet has the defendant been inoculated for the havoc that just makes no sense.
Miss Davis told her that she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the havoc?
He did, because
Miss Davis immediately was like, "Well, it doesn't matter what nobody else think. Oh, I ain't going nowhere."
Right, because you lay down with me.
This position.
That's your
I've got
father,
you now.
so you're not.
I've got you now.
Okay, so the next Chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that the mommy had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he sent some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
We got into a bit of an altercation. I don't remember the exact details. And my family member seen her be picked up by another guy.
That was my cousin.
That she claims to be her cousin. However, it's a coincidence that while we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something, maybe scrolling on Facebook, and this guy inboxes about meeting her again, and she's telling him, "Oh, I need some more loving."
Slept with him,
so to me, saying more means that it's already happened.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting. Duh! But the baby's mom wiped off all his lies like this.
I'm no Einstein or anything, but I'm educated enough to know my own birth date. This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
Says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote.
write anything.
This birthday issue is just a typo?
That he wrote.
Do you think he wrote his wrong birthday on purpose?
Right, and because
No,
when
Your Honor.
I seen it, when we got the birth certificate, I let him know that whatever he signed it wrong.
Until now, it was apparent that Mr. Wiggin was a compulsive liar who made sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together, and it ticked Judge Lake. So she articulated the reality like this.
Are you all still involved?
No, we're not, Your Honor. No, we're not, Your Honor.
At the same time, two different answers.
Right.
Exact same time.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels. No, Your Honor, that's not true.
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor. We did go to dinner, Your Honor. But
And afterwards?
I went to my respective places.
No, he came to my room.
Mr. Wiggins, you look like you lying.
No.
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet he contended that he wanted to get back his family. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated, so the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father. Miss Davis, what are you feeling?
I've been going through this for a long time, like between him and his wife, like.
It's his child.
Right.
You are the father. You have the clarity you need.
I'm gonna take care of my child.
Good.
That's all I ask.
But you also have to deal with this thing you all have.
Yes, ma'am.
The craziest woman fights on paternity court.
Was I slut when you married me? Was I slut when you slept with me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me right now? Excuse me. This is why I want my divorce.
I'm his baby mother, and I have to talk to him, not you.
It don't matter.
And
He's married to me.
And
the money comes from me.
Okay,
So at
can
the
I
end
get
of the day-
juvenile support then, since he on SSI?
Would you be estranged enough to ghost your pregnant wife and show up a month later just to deny the child? I know no normal person would pull such an act, but Mr. McGee was that psychopath who did so just because he had doubts.
I've had to pay for medical expenses for my daughter, everything. He left us homeless with my newborn child. And he just vanished and left us. I did everything by myself for the last almost 5 years.
So the defendant was no help at all, and Miss McGee was doing everything on her own for the past 5 years. And the alleged only explanation for it was that I have doubts. Yeah, we got that, but that doesn't make up for bailing on a pregnant woman.
You know me and you were messing around the time I conceived.
No, because you were messing around with multiple.
You was too, and you talking about multiple people before I even had her. I let you know. It ain't like I kept it a secret from you. I let him know it was a slight possibility he wasn't my child's father. I'm not gonna sit up here and make it seem like I'm such a saint, like I didn't do no wrong.
Oh, there were other men involved at the time of conception. Enraged, baby mama further said that even though all the suspicion had pushed the poor hubby away, he could not exploit her for half of a decade.
I know he's my child father, and he needs to step up and help take care of her, because I can't continue to do this on my own.
Mr. McGee, you do admit you were in a sexual relationship with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir Timothy blamed the plaintiff's family for instigating uncertainty in his mind, and he even hit upon messages and photos of other men that the plaintiff was messing with while they were supposedly committed to each other.
He was cheating on me, I was cheating on him. I told him it was a slight possibility he wasn't my child's father. I was honest with him, but that still don't change the fact even after I had her, you married me. You had all these doubts. Why did you marry me? Why you didn't request the DNA test before you married me?
Yeah, why put a ring on someone you can't trust? I'm sure you're not that dumb, right? Well, in Mr. McGee's defense, he was too head over heels for his wife that he got easily fooled into a marriage. However, the real point is that it has nothing to do with keeping up with your responsibilities.
I'll pay 25% and then they could pay the other 75%.
Are you kidding me right now? Excuse me? This is why I want my divorce. This is why I want him to sign over his rights, and when his test come back, he is my child father. I want him to help me support the cost of that I had to deal with for almost 5 years with my child.
How ruthless of him to pay the bare minimum for his baby. Disgusting. Then the defendant kept repeating his denial based on her confession of a possibility. But he brought a twist in the story, as her mother told him that he might not be a father. So, listening to this, the judge brought in Mrs. McGee's mother.
Do you think Mr. McGee is your grandchild's father?
No, my daughter was out there. I was out there. Yes. Excuse me?
Let's be respectful.
Excuse me?
Let's be respectful.
Was I slut when you married me? Was I slut when you slept with me?
Yes.
Ooh, mother stoked against daughter. That's interesting. Grandma continued that due to baby mama's upbringing in a Christian family, she was just claiming him as the father to protect herself from being the victim of family gossip. Then the plaintiff asked both of them for an apology, which led to a heated argument.
When this test come back, he is my child's father. I want an apology from you, and I want one from you. Because if I was out there, how I know who my child's father is? I admitted to him that I made mistakes throughout our relationship. We had a relationship until you betrayed me.
It's not that I betray her.
Yeah, she's right. Why only blame her when it takes two to tango? So the judge asked Grandma's opinion on the potential father. Upon hearing this, the defendant said that now there were two guys, but the baby mama shared how his future partner had helped her.
He stepped up and helped me take care of my child while this one left us both. So of course I'm gonna move on with my life. I'm not gonna sit up there and keep being bitter. That little girl mean more to me than anything. And that's why he stepped up.
Why are you being so insecure about her moving on? Next, the judge brought in Mrs. McGee's fiancé and asked him about the possibility, and he agreed that there was a slight chance. Then the defendant claimed that he would step up if the results prove him wrong, but the plaintiff exposed his bitter reality in the court.
He left me my appendix in rupture while I was 4 months pregnant with my child. I almost lost my daughter. You know what he said to me? I'll be back. I'm going to the store. And you know, I didn't see him till a month later. And I'm pregnant with your child. Don't be there one day and the next day don't. Be there consistently. Be there for her, not for me.
It was hard to listen to a single mother's struggles. And on top of this, the father was completely acting ruthless to the baby. The testimonies couldn't convince him, so the judge called for the results to give the daughter back her rights.
The biological father is Mr. McGee.
How you feel now? Bet you feel stupid now, don't you?
Miss McGee.
You missed all them years.
Can you even imagine how tough it must be for a woman to discover that her husband may not be the biological father of her last 3 kids? Miss Moore here strongly believes Mr. Butler is her child's real dad, who claimed that baby mama told Mr. Butler multiple times in the past that he's not the father. Talk about a courtroom cliffhanger.
There is only one reason the defendant, Mr. Butler, has doubts he fathered your 1-year-old daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
You argue you've been told on multiple occasions by the plaintiff herself that you are not her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh boy, things took a wild turn when Miss Carter presented a message as evidence, claiming her husband keeps her and their bundle of joy happy. But here's the kicker. Why did she need to whip out a message in court? And hold on tight, because the chaos escalated when Mr. Butler's wife locked horns with Miss Moore.
This is the
He
same
stepped up.
man that
Went to every doctor's appointment.
That looks just
No, you a lie on that one.
They look just
My
alike.
fiance is way finer than him. Knock that off.
Not only that, the baby doesn't carry his last name. Doesn't carry the last name. She's never shown him the birth certificate.
Mr. Butler remains adamant that this baby isn't his. And to bolster his case, his wife pulls out a picture showing Miss Moore with another man. Could this mystery man be the real father? Plus, there's another eyebrow-raising reason for doubt. Miss Moore never shared a birth certificate, and the baby doesn't even bear her husband's last name.
She come up there and say, well, I gotta tell you this, taking pictures of my baby and all of that. I gotta tell you this, your daughter looks more like Mr. Butler than any of his other kids.
This is the man you believe is Samara's father?
I wish so, Your Honor. I pray to God and I wish.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment of truth. Is Mr. Butler truly the father of this adorable baby? Or was he right all along, and she doesn't share a drop of his DNA? Get ready for the thrilling conclusion as the DNA results are in.
Mr. Butler,
Yes, ma'am.
you are her father.
Now, look at her.
Miss Bully Jack's life was all jacked up because of the tittle-tattle of her own family. Now her relationship of 11 years was at the point that only a DNA test could save it. Let's see how this plaintiff's fame is testifying from the wrong side of the podium.
I'm my grandmother, and I truly believe that Marquise is not my grandbaby's father.
My mother is nothing but a traitor. Blood is supposed to be thicker than water.
And ma'am, who are you?
Well, Your Honor, I'm her sister, and she knows he's not the father.
She ain't nothing but a hater, and she ain't doing nothing but listening to my mama.
Well, you saw that witness parade. You can imagine how things would have been at home. That's why the judge moved and asked baby mama what had happened that led to such betrayal by her claim and lover.
Mr. Davis has been in a relationship for 11 years. That is over a decade. Our relationship has been ruined in rumors of infidelity and by people defaming my character, such as history witnesses and my sister, their blood. They're supposed to be sitting right here, but you see where they at.
So the relationship is falling apart, and it got further revealed that couples of friends also played their part in it, dropping a low comment here and there about Margaret ruining the bond between two lovebirds.
Everybody in his ear, this is causing a huge paternity issue
Your Honor,
in your
I'm
relationship.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Her story is just not true.
It sure
I'm
is.
sorry. She admitted to us that she had a relationship with this other person.
She admitted to me she had a relationship with this other guy.
You heard the mama. The plaintiff herself had been doubt-dropping crackers here and there. See, even if you're saying such things out of spite, they're gonna come back to bite you. And in this relationship, it had ruined the lives of 3 children.
Before you got pregnant with Messiah.
Yeah, so kind of like after I had my first child, things started getting a little crazy, and I started staying with him and his mother.
So you opened your home, Ms. Davis?
Yes, I did.
To her?
Yes.
What was going on in the relationship between your son and Bully Jack?
You argue constantly all the time. It's always something about some infidelity.
Anyway, coming back to the denial part, the defendant's mother pleaded that before getting pregnant, Miss Bully Jack had gone missing, which raised the question of paternity. However, her own added more serious infidelity, a shocker to the trial.
Me to babysit her kids while she go over there to so-called get her hair did, and she would stay for hours, and when she come back, her hair still look like the same way it looked when he came, when she came back.
You think she was sleeping with this guy?
Yes, we know.
Wow, these ladies are just very persistent with their claims. What made things worse was that the big sister Lorian testified that the Messiah looked just like another guy, whom her sister was crushing on, while their baby mama, you know what? Wait, let's just watch it instead of me telling you.
I told her that I actually kind of had a crush on the man that they're speaking about. And I told
So you admit you had a crush on that man?
Yeah, yes I did.
Do you admit you slept with him?
No, I don't.
She was going over there all the time.
No, I wasn't going over there all the time.
Her hair did.
Yes,
First of
I
all,
was.
come back looking the same way it did when she left.
She would be gone,
and she'd be gone for hours.
Getting her hair done or not, what does it have to do with the paternity of the child? Why do they keep forgetting this court isn't a family court? Here, Judge Lake is all about children and nothing else.
So she would say, I'm going to get my hair done, and then come back and her hair wasn't done.
Then she would ask us if Marquise calls, let him know that I was here the whole time.
A lot of revelations going on, which defendants had no idea about and were just making all the suspicions go stronger. Lorian even came out declaring that she tried her best to hint to the baby daddy that her youngest nephew wasn't his.
Sarkis looks just like you. Zion looks just like her. Who do Messiah look like? Because he looks like neither one.
Why is it so hard to believe that he's not his baby if he don't look like his own mama?
Messiah look just like the guy you was
Messiah don't look like him.
Same hairline color.
Girl, no. I'm not trying to hear none of that. I'm not trying to hear none of that.
And don't forget that Miss Commoners also made the same accusations over and over. Mr. Davis wasn't the father. My daughter told me that. However, this time, she added that Mr. Davis was too naive and had driven the plaintiff with his deadbeatedness.
She cheated on Marquise with the other guy. She said Marquise had been gone for 7 days and left her in the house with the kids with no food, no pampers, no nothing. And she said she's gonna get him back. She went and she slept with the other guy.
No, that's what she thinks.
But she had been.
Tell her nothing.
Ooh, you were just working too hard. Right. That's why you just kept giving the cold shoulder to your other children, too. No good excuse, I'd say. Even the judge was quick to point that out. Nonetheless, each of the participants had warned the judge out, so she reached for the envelope.
Mr. Davis, you are the father.
Where is the apology? Where is the apology?
Step into the courtroom and witness the clash of Rainey versus Matthew. What brought these two to this legal battleground? Get ready to find out the truth. Miss Rainey is demanding $4,663.50 from Mr. Matthew, claiming it's the rightful half of their child's expenses. But does Mr. Matthew see eye to eye with her? Will he step up and acknowledge his responsibility as a father? Only time will tell.
When I found out I was pregnant, I told him and the other person that it was between both of them.
No. You weren't sleeping with anybody else during the time of conception?
I slept with him and Rondell.
Mr. Matthews, what do you have to say?
I have to say that it's not possible that it can only be between me and one other person. She is known to have family trees in her.
When Miss Rainey went into labor, she contacted Matthew, keeping him in the loop. Even after she gave birth, she sent him photos of their newborn, hoping for his recognition. But shockingly, he dismissed the pictures, insisting that the child bore no resemblance to him. Matthew, have you ever considered the possibility that this little one is indeed your flesh and blood? Imagine discovering that you denied your very own children. How would you react?
When my child was born, we sent him a picture on the phone of my child. His words was, "That ain't my son.
Why
He don't look like
what
me."
What is you texting
name
me for?
Him,
you need to be sending a picture to your baby daddy.
You might as well name him Salih and be with Salih. So guess what I did? I named him Salih.
Right. Living off Rainey's hard-earned money and still having the audacity to criticize her? What on earth is wrong with this man? Is his motive for denying his kids simply to dodge any financial responsibilities? In front of the judge, he shamelessly admitted that if Rainey is making money, he will gladly take his share. Where's the gratitude, Matthew? It's nowhere to be found.
Always had my own place until now.
And you made your own money?
Surviving, getting it, whether it was working on a pole, working at a restaurant, working in a restaurant, group home, anything. I got it.
Right.
And you had half of it, so what you complaining for?
I wasn't complaining about it. When I was
Mr. Matthews, what do you say to that? She's
she'll
saying
give me her money now.
The judge couldn't help but voice the question that lingered on everyone's mind. Why does she stay with him? Rainey's answer reveals a hard-learned lesson that loving alone is sometimes not enough. A woman needs more than just affection. She deserves respect and care. It seems Rainey has come to understand this fundamental truth.
I had a rough life. When you don't have nobody and that's all you have is somebody that's really nothing to lean on, when you can lean on them, that's what you gotta do. Like I said, yes, I did love him. I wanted to marry him. I still love him, but I don't want to be with him because he can't respect me as not only the child, his kid's mother.
Now, all that's left is for Matthew to take responsibility for his children. Even if he can't find love for this woman and their kids, the least he can do is provide financial support for the expenses Rainey bears. The court has been presented with evidence of the costs she has incurred. It's time for Matthew to face the music.
Today's DNA results are going to see whether he's responsible for these children. You are suing him for half of the child care expenses, $4,663.50. Have you brought the court any evidence of monies you've spent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on tight. The tension explodes into a heated fight. They shout at each other, vehemently disagreeing with every word. Who's losing their cool here? Is it Miss Rainey or Mr. Matthew? Well, Matthew crossed a line by claiming Rainey neglected the children's clothing, and that triggered her like a raging storm. Sparks are flying.
These are receipts
Her kids don't never
from
got clothes
baby-related
on.
expenses.
They do have clothes
They don't
on.
never
Well, why
got
you
clean
can't do?
clothes
Okay,
on.
if my
And she's
son is
not
out,
at the
why you
mall.
can't
They don't
step
never
up to
got
get him and
clean
do
clothes.
you?
Finally, the moment of truth is here, as the judge is ready to unveil the DNA results. However, the concerning part was that, if results show that he is the father, will it make any difference? Will he finally step up, embrace his role as a father, and provide the care these children deserve? The stakes have never been higher.
You are his father. All right?
The craziest moments on paternity court.
Listen, Jerome, get her. Get her, Jerome. Miss Christian.
I cared about it a little bit, but not too much.
I ain't finna keep standing here talking about something.
listen,
It was
Your
about
Honor.
some sex.
Hold on.
And love since the day you met me. What are you
Man,
saying?
come on,
That's
Your
why you
Honor.
left your ex to come be with me. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the results now.
Confusion and craziness together lead to a promiscuous way of life. Hence, the plaintiff not only admitted to cheating with another guy, she also had a threesome with her peep. That's why Mr. Maltese was convinced he didn't father her child. So to help them out in the paternity loop, we need a DNA test.
You admit to having a threesome behind the defendant's back and then sleeping with his friend 1 week later.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're unsure who fathered your 1-year-old daughter, Brooklyn?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Maltese, you claim you found Miss Phillips' diary and it contained a full list of potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
The rodeo began with Miss Phillips quickly throwing out all the lies he had told her about his age and his side friendships, and then the defendant replying to the judge when he found out about her infidelity and shared how he endured embarrassment and shock from her actions. You can't laugh at your nasty work, miss.
Back in December of 2011, broke up, and she came back to me crying, asking me to take her back. But at the time, before she even came back to me, we was at a friend's house, and she yelled at me in front of all my friends and in front of her friends also. That's why I had sex with one of your friends.
She said that out loud.
In front of all my friends. Embarrassed me, embarrassed herself.
Seems like acting selfish in the relationship is not one-sided. However, what the plaintiff said next is something you do not even blurt out in anger. Yeah, just listen to how Miss Phillips defended her actions strongly against him by sharing this in court.
I let him know that his friend, his potential friend, not the threesome, but his friend was a possibility. And he blew up on me and telling me, go be with this guy, go give him oral sex,
Your Honor.
go. And I just basically told him my kid doesn't need a dad. You're either gonna be there or you're not.
No, your child does need a dad.
Then Mr. Maltese told the judge about proof he had of the plaintiff's disloyalty from her diary when it was discussed to get to the point of view from both sides. But Miss Phillips was emotional, and she argued about his daddy's duties.
Are 18 names listed? Quite a list.
And out of those 18, 2 to 3 of them are my friends that she slept with.
Mr. Maltese, you're saying you're over taking care of a child.
Yeah.
That time you think it's your daughter. Yeah. So you're over there doing what you feel like you should be doing.
I'm doing what a real man
And as you're cleaning.
The defendant continued his statements on other multiple father possibilities and shared that months after their daughter's birth, he discovered the plaintiff's scandals and was left broken. And the judge had to step in and called out Miss Phillips for her arrogance.
Before you get to why he didn't do this and he's not the father and he's not this, you've got to take responsibility for the fact that he may not believe he is the child's father.
I told him before she was even here.
He is present in this child's life, right or wrong, but that may be the reason. And part of the reason he has to doubt Miss Phillips is because of your action.
Things got heated when the plaintiff was ranting about his irresponsible behavior towards her daughter, and she couldn't stop herself from cursing. Then, defending her respect, she said this about cheating.
I made mistakes. I forgive myself. I hold my head up high.
Is that why you're cursing in the courtroom?
Because he makes me so angry with rage.
Broken up and sleeping with my friends is still cheating.
You're talking about an adult relationship.
So, why is it that you have to sleep with people he knows? That's just nasty. All the men in the world, you want to go out and do your thing.
About the father's duties question, the plaintiff shared how one night she asked Mr. Maltese's help to look after their daughter, and he acted completely ignorant in the situation. But the defendant had an answer to this as well.
I lost my car. It was in the shop. I needed him to keep her overnight. I asked him, keep her overnight, please. I work nights. I cannot go get her on the bus and take her home on the bus late at night. He left voicemails on my phone of my daughter crying, dad. Like, what am I gonna think as a mother that's happening to my child?
Did that happen, Mr. Maltese?
Yes, it has, Your Honor.
How could you do this when you're a father? Upon this, she called him a total control freak. After the plaintiff's witness's testimony, Miss Phillips got mad over his behavior as an irresponsible and absent dad in their daughter's life. She also compared her daughter's life to her childhood and felt broken saying this. The poor woman was so wrong, but torn at the same time.
I love you so much and I want to be there, and then he wants to say, come get your kid, and then he wants to be there, and then he doesn't want to be there. I can't deal with it. My daughter doesn't know it now, but she will. She's going to grow up seeing him come in and out of her life because he broke my heart multiple times.
Mr. Maltese, you are her father.
A 26-year-old woman came to court to open her paternity case to know the identity of her real father and wanted permission to have a DNA test to get closure. The defendant, Mr. Christian, on the other hand, completely denied her claim and said he was sure he wasn't the dad, no matter what she had been told all her life. We hope she gets the results she wants.
You opened your case hoping the court will grant you a paternity test so you can prove to the defendant that he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Christian, there is no need for a DNA test because you know you are not the plaintiff's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge asked Miss Christian why she should be granted a paternity test, and she shared a solid reason for it, but still was unsure of the truth. The troubled woman said how her life had been impacted by an in-and-out-of-life daddy. Why would you leave someone after giving them your name?
And so you've had to bear the burden of this paternity issue.
Yeah, and I've been the only one willing to step up and find out the truth and be the mature person in this situation.
The defendant replied to her cries, revealing the contrary nature of his relationship with her mother. They weren't fully committed, and he signed for the first baby, but kept his hands back for the second time, which made the plaintiff call him out for being ignorant all his life. His words don't add up.
I don't know this woman. She only been in his life for 3 years. I'm 26 years old. What can you say about this situation? I'm the innocent person in this situation. You want to sit there and cry and you a grown man and I've been going through all this? I'm the innocent person. I got a baby on the way. I need to know who my family is.
You're right. You're right.
Calm down.
The judge asked the plaintiff's witness about her mother's relationship with the defendant, and she said that she got them together and revealed he was very fatherly with Miss Christian after her birth, but things turned around when he got married. Now, listen to her crushing struggles for finding her father.
When Miss Christian was born, Mr. Christian was taking care of her like she was his child.
Exactly what I'm saying,
Accepting
Your Honor.
her.
Basically like a deadbeat father. Your Honor, I had to look for him when I was 7. I had to find him because I don't have my mom's last name. I have his last name. So if I'm not yours, why do I have your last name? Why do you keep being in and out of my life?
Come on, man. Own your responsibilities. The witness continued, and she said that she had hidden a lot of ugly truths from her niece, but her father had been very irresponsible. Now, listen to this traumatic experience of the plaintiff, which leads them to argue with each other.
He didn't have no time for no kid.
I was living with his mother when I went back to try to get my high school diploma.
Exactly.
This is the main reason why I'm here now, because they kicked me out a week before Christmas.
You can't tell her to close her mouth.
And she can't tell her to close her mouth. She does need to shut up.
Let's get some order.
The defendant said that he had tried to grow his bond with Miss Christian several times in her childhood, but it never worked. He also shared an incident with the plaintiff, but quickly stated his reasons for doing so. Both parties started arguing again. He is not owing anything in this case yet.
If you had the doubt, what made you go pick her up?
I, myself, know who my father is. I never was able to spend any time with him growing up, so I didn't want her to have to go through that type of stuff of not knowing who her father was or knowing who your father is and not being able to get the support that you need from father.
The judge asked Mr. Christian whether he signed the birth certificate, and he declined and said he had paid insurance for her, but the plaintiff called it a lie and disclosed a new debate about blood tests. Listen to him about the shocking results that made him an absent father. He could have done better, but maybe he never wanted it in the first place.
I took a blood test, 99.8% that me and her mother didn't possess the proper gene in order to create Precious.
Where did you see those results?
They sent it to me in the mail, and I wish I had kept it. And that was when she was 2 years old. Her mother has lied to her for all these years.
A doctor's testimony was brought in the case to understand the accuracy of blood test results, and it was revealed that there were still some chances of probability. But the defendant still disbelieved his paternity and shared this incident in the court.
She over there clapping, it ain't funny.
I'll punch her right.
No. Who was clapping?
She clapping and laughing like it's funny.
I have not laughed.
Oh, you clap. You clap, but you can get it.
Because you over there downgrading somebody.
You know what?
Listen, Jerome, get her, Jerome. Miss Christian, Mr. Christian, you are not the father.
Playboys are considered the worst of all mankind. But have you ever seen one who's dumb as well? No? We'll see this case where a woman wanted the defendant to believe that he fathered her kid, but he not only denied it, but didn't even admit his 5-year relationship with the plaintiff, Miss Sales. So, to get closure for her, a DNA test is needed.
Since the day my daughter was born, because she was light-skinned with gray eyes, that was not his child because I'm too dark to have a light-skinned baby.
Mr. Jackson, she said you were in a 5-year relationship. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
What were we doing, Miko?
What were you doing?
Huh?
You know, she was like my side woman.
Playboy Mr. Jackson is not just careless, but dumb as well. He admitted boldly that she was just a side woman to him because she was sexy and added that she was smacking other guys beside him. But she denied it, saying he was messing around in her house every day for a year straight. Then the plaintiff shared their relationship timeline to reveal his terrible lies.
When I moved back in town, he never let me know about this relationship he had. He never said anything to me about it. And by the time he actually started trying to confess that he had a girlfriend, we had already been together for 6 to 8 months, already having sex with each other on the regular. He's a sorry liar.
The judge asked them about pregnancy, so Miss Sales told them the whole situation. She shared the illness about her cyst issues. They also had planned a baby, so while they were at the hospital, after some tests, they did this.
I was getting a lot of tests ran and things telling me no, I wasn't pregnant at the time because I had polyp. Nurse explained that it was really hard for me to get pregnant and my chances was very slim. We had sex at the hospital that same night. And then—
In the hospital?
Yeah, so after they, got me together and got my body together, yeah, believe me, it wasn't that.
Negative,
no.
Upon the judge's question of Miss Sales' infidelity, the defendant said his friend told him about the affair with a white dude, but the plaintiff jumped up and cleared the air in this way. Then he shared another cliffhanger of a text, but she refused to keep up with his lies. I mean, things are not adding up here.
He is lying.
So what about the guy with the lie?
A random person he found on my messenger that I guess had said, "What's up, sexy?" Extra 100 guys that do that too, and he picked that one out because he was light-skinned.
Oh, so you're saying he concocted the cheating story after Micaiah was born?
Yeah.
Based upon her skin color?
Yes.
Well, the Playboy seems to be in trouble as he can't back up himself on the court. He was given another chance to turn in his lies as he brought the conception calendar, but his dates are even more complex than a woman's menstrual dates. His fishy dates turned back at him harder than ever.
So when do you finally find out Miss Sales is pregnant?
It's around like September.
There it is, September.
Yes, ma'am.
Micaiah was born on May 9th. So is it your testimony that you didn't have sex, nor in August,
Yes, Your Honor.
nor in September?
He's lying. He just said he loved it. Why would he stop? He is lying.
I mean, he looked like he lying. I don't even have to say it.
The defendant wasn't believable at all, so his witness was brought to the court, and she gave testimony about a DNA test that the plaintiff refused to do. The test refusal by Miss Sales led to more questions, and even brought up a funny story about the case. After all the lies, it was time to get to the results.
I guess she seen me more serious about it, because I've been saying I'm supposed to be getting a DNA test for a while.
And did you all ever park and get out the car and go towards the courthouse?
We did.
And then what happened?
We left. It was just too much at the time.
This lie is too much.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
An on and off relationship is always a headache, but what can you do if someone wants to have it in their life by choice? A woman wanted to prove the paternity of her youngest child to her ex, with whom she already had 4 kids before. Her purpose is to win him back, but the defendant said she was a rocky person and didn't accept the baby. So, to get answers for her, a DNA test is required.
It was good in the beginning when we first started having children. And then after that, me and her started both doing our own little thing. And we was already about to split, but she ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, she was already messing around with other guys.
The testimony started with the plaintiff and defendant both telling about their relationship. Ms. Thomas said they grew apart because he always cheated on her. And Mr. Nelson said he was still on good terms with her, but once he tried getting back with her. And the plaintiff's response was this.
He cheated on me throughout almost our whole entire relationship.
So, Miss Thomas, why put up with that?
We went through hard times. Why wouldn't you want to make something like that work with somebody you had all these years with, all these kids with, and you just want to...
That's why I don't even know this chat, man.
He gave up the relationship. I wish it was that easy for me during them times to just throw it away.
Miss Thompson continued and said she didn't feel guilty about cheating on him and did it to even the score with her boyfriend in their 5-year relationship. The defendant then said she was sleeping with another guy besides him at the same time, and she denied it with her proof. Man, how were they cheating but still hooking up?
How long had you all been together when you discovered she was cheating?
5? Yeah.
5 years and 4 children. So Jakai is potentially your 5th child together.
It's hard for me to put a nail on that if she was messing with me and the same guy around the same time. When I got back from North Carolina,
Your Honor, that is not true.
So I said, you gained some weight. She was like, oh, I've been eating a lot.
Here is more lying and confusion about cheating. The plaintiff admitted her cheating to Mr. Nelson calmly, but the defendant added that he got to know about it through his friends. Upon this, she denied it and shocked everyone about his actions after her pregnancy news.
He was going around telling everybody that I was pregnant. Up until the time he met Miss Campbell, that's when he started denying my son. Mind you, he was cheating on me with her. I didn't know about her until I found out she was calling him through Facebook. And he was trying to lie then because we were still messing around even when he was with her.
Mr. Nelson's wife gave testimony and shared that she had discovered his cheating through a video and also during a meetup together with the plaintiff. Okay, so he had side chicks going on from both sides, huh? The defendant was too confused to choose between his side chick and wife, so he finally did this.
Me and my wife had got into some problems, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, what would be different this time if I did come back? My mama told me, that's your covenant, you can't break your covenant because that's between me, her, and God. I broke my covenant, and I've been repenting for it and stuff like that. My wife, we back on good terms now.
My hopes for any results are gone. But the judge asked both of them about the kid, and the defendant said they never planned the baby after 5 years. But Miss Thomas denied it and showed astonishing proof of Mr. Nelson, who was still an official cheater.
He calls me and tells me how much he misses me and wants to be with me. It's not the other way around, and I have messages.
So what is your plan for real? You the plan. So are you really gonna leave her this time? I want my family back. I hear you, but you said this last time, and I really need to know if you serious this time. This the kind of conversation a married man's having?
The defendant's demeanor was too complicated for a result, so the judge addressed both women and advised them to be better in their decisions. Upon this, the plaintiff shared her broken feelings over this mess. The poor woman got nothing but pain. And now, the results were revealed.
I didn't know he was married until, a week later, before I had my son. He didn't tell me. He denied it when he came to the hospital. 6 years, 5 kids, sacrifices, everything we've been through, it's like she got it easy.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Nelson, you are the father.
The craziest "you are not the father" moments.
Mr. Rich is not the father. Mr. Rich,
it's not like that.
You are not the father.
Help her.
Okay? No, don't change her too much.
Tune in, Paternity peeps. Meet another genius. Mr. Charles claimed he was the legal father, but not the biological dad of Miss Tiffany. However, the plaintiff didn't buy it and brought her grandma as backup. Now, Granny seemed pretty convinced that the defendant was the real deal. It's like a showdown of family versus facts.
I know he is the father of Tiffany because he and Rose lived in my house. And I saw them having sex.
That is not true.
So you knew they were intimate during that time?
Yes.
Not true,
I
not true.
saw them more than once.
Your Honor.
The first floor in my living room.
That is
the
not
door
true.
was wide open.
All right, the juicy twist was that Grandma isn't just some old spine off the street. Instead, she's the mother of Mr. Charles. Just whoa! And that attic story? Talk about some 60s romance novel. However, Miss Tiffany heard the rumors when she was just 12. Imagine finding out your dad might be a one-night stand.
I asked my grandmother what was going on because I was so confused, and she told me that it may be a possibility it could be someone else. They didn't know that.
No, I didn't say that.
Your Honor,
I asked around. I asked
Your
around.
Honor, she never accepted me.
I have never said that.
Granny, if what Miss Tiffany just said is true, then you might be living in a contradiction. To further complicate matters, the plaintiff's sis, Miss Alexis, comes in with her surprise. She reveals that Mom told her a different story.
She told me that she told him that she was pregnant and he did not want to be a dad to my little sister.
So Tiffany, as you listen to this testimony, as you listen to your sister and the man you have known as your father your whole life, what are you thinking? Are you thinking now that maybe there was another man?
I don't know.
Now things just start to get complicated as the sister's testimony gave everyone a final blow. But before we jump to conclusions, Miss Tiffany pulls out her secret weapon, a chart of her health conditions that she shares with Mr. Charles: asthma, diabetes, and a shellfish allergy. Can someone please call the expert hotline?
When you review all the reports, it looks like it's double to have a parent with a shellfish allergy to have a child or an offspring with that allergy. It is not absolute, but the chances of having a father with the 3 diseases and having an offspring in question with the same 3 diseases increases the likelihood of that father being her father.
Okay, this is paternity court for you folks. Everything's just in a big spin. But the question remains, Miss Tiffany, have you prepared yourself? Or your mind has been on a loop of how long will you slide till you reach the other side?
I don't know. I've had his name for years, and I just hate for it to just hate to live with that. But I just gotta live with it and move on.
Mr. Browning, I can see that makes you emotional here.
Yes, Your Honor, I hate to see her in that state, but it's for her best.
I understand.
Aw, now that's just hurtful on so many levels. And we just want to discuss those, right? So what we can discuss are the results. So in an attempt to bring closure to our beautiful Miss Tiffany's daddy hunt, Judge Lake pulls the concealed envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Browning, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do this.
Have a seat, honey. Just take a seat. It's gonna be all right.
He loves you.
I thought, Granny, you were so sure. But that's just hurtful to watch. I just don't want this scene to be converted into the craziest you're not the father moments. But can we stop that from happening? Let's find out.
Today we got it answered. It wasn't the answer you wanted, but at least you know for certain. And another thing you know for certain is you have people who love you. You're surrounded by people who love you.
You're not going through this alone. When we leave here, we leave the same way we came, as family.
This next case is nothing more than a shocker to not just the plaintiff, but to all of us. A lifelong secret just got exposed almost 2 months ago to Mr. Weeks, that the man he thought to be his biological father might not be his. And guess what? Our big mama here kept this concealed for almost 3 decades.
29 years ago, I had an affair between 2 guys because I didn't want my mother to know.
So you were reluctant just because you didn't want your mother to reject.
My mother has rejected my daughter. I grew up stern with those beliefs that a child out of wedlock was not going to be accepted by her.
Oh boy, you heard that concern there, right? 30 years! And all this because, Miss Moore, you were scared of your mama. But you should have also considered the mental health of your child. I mean, rejection at times might have been far better than living a lie, no?
I kept hearing rumors from outside family members that Maurice might not be my father or I might not be his son. I asked, but I always get the same results. For a long time, I got the same results.
Your Honor, he never asked me.
I asked.
Had my son asked me, I would have told him.
I told her, I came to her and asked her. She always told me, Maurice is your father.
But if the secret has been sitting in the shadows for so many years, I'm just wondering how it managed to come to light after so many. Now that might be a story we're all interested in. So let's hear Miss Weeks out on this one.
I seen another family member of mine. He asked me how my father was. I told him he's doing fine. You want to talk to him? He said yes. I went in my pocket, brought my phone out, called him right there on the spot. As soon as he got on the phone, he said, "Oh, my bad, I got the wrong number." He gave me back the phone. So I stood back.
Basically, he was implying Maurice wasn't your father.
Right.
Although we are discussing some serious emotions here, it seems kind of funny, because Mr. Weeks, your family member did have one creative way to deliver the obvious. But how about we focus on a little flashback for Mama to explain everything.
He bonded with this man. He loved this man. This man loved him. I wasn't going to change it when the man himself said, "Jackie, I will be there for your children through everything." I wasn't going to change that. I wasn't going to jeopardize my other children just for one.
And you sacrificed and you kept that secret.
And hurted over this.
Wait, what? Big Mama G, you missed the entire point here. I mean, the poor child was never bound to have a divine revelation about questioning his paternity, right? Regardless of hearing the rumors at an early age, How will he be able to understand this?
What we can do today is figure out how do we go forward. Where there is emotion, there is still love. You all love each other.
I love my son with all my heart.
You
And I
love
would
your son
like to
and you
hug
love
my-
Miss Walker.
I love Cynthia because she is a good person for my son. But she's a good mother.
Maybe you needed to get that out, and maybe this court was just the place where you need to lay it on the table.
All right, we do witness that where there is hate, there is also love. And to maintain the elements of love, Judge Lake pulls out the paternity paper, read to embark everyone onto the road of DNA results. Let's see how that goes.
As it relates to Mr. Earl Weeks, Mr. Weeks, the man who has raised you for the past 29 years is not your biological father. Help her.
No, don't change her too much.
Now, isn't that one expected result? I mean, since the beginning of the case, we were all aware of where this was headed, but we gave this a benefit of the doubt. But the reaction that came afterward was just too painful to watch.
Cannot beat yourself up over this. It was a judgment call. You had to make it, and you did. She needs you.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now, this one's a real heartbreaker, DNA peeps. Mr. Rich, the man with long braids and tears in his eyes, caught himself in quite the situation. He got close to Miss Holman's daughter, Alani, just to find out there might not be just one, but two other contenders on the list of paternity.
I built a father-daughter relationship with her.
You have.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you have a very real tie with this beautiful baby.
Yes, I do. I feel like I gave my all to somebody that don't give a care about me.
And I can see how much that bothers you. This is serious for you. This is not a game.
It's not no game.
Well, ladies, we can cut the tension with a scissor in this courtroom. If there were a list of men for the paternity of the poor child, why bother Mr. Rich for being so convenient with the child, huh? We need some explanations here, Miss Holman.
Your Honor, I asked Rich to come back. I knew that Rich wasn't the father, but I knew that he would be there for me. I knew it. I knew he loved me. In spite of everything I've ever put him through, Rich has always loved me, unconditionally. And so I took advantage of that. I didn't want to be by myself while I was pregnant. And I knew that the person I was pregnant about didn't about me.
The person you thought you was pregnant about.
I know who I was pregnant about, so shut your mouth.
Now, isn't that just so toxic? You just can't use people for your advantage, Miss Holman. Now, if we connected the dots, Mr. Drumgold was the man coined as being the potential father for the baby by Miss Holman. But he has a spin-off tale to tell.
There's been incidents that I know and two other gentlemen that I know during the time that she supposed to had Alani that she was dealing with.
Can I speak, please?
Yes, ma'am, go
Okay,
ahead.
so at the same time, me and Mr. Drumgold were never in a relationship. We have always had an open relationship. In fact, he should have made some type of effort. He said he showed up at my house to bring me something, but someone else was there, so he decided to leave.
Come on, what's happening here? You're asking a man to make efforts based on the fact he's a potential father? Well, honey, let me explain something. You don't want a man to go down that lane. But Mr. Drumgold said something that further explained what the baby mama has been up to.
One of the phone calls, the other dudes, and I went to one of her family members' house, and they opened the door, and there was another gentleman rubbing her stomach.
Really?
But at the time, again, she was telling me it's no possibility it could be anyone else.
So is this the man you were intimate with, Miss Holman?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Oh boy, now that was some high escalation of emotions. I mean, it seems quite natural if you've put in your heart for the baby, right? But before we go any further, how about we just focus on the DNA results to bring some clarity?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
Don't go there, Miss Holman. Don't go there.
At the end of the day, I just wanted to know.
And why do you have the tears? Is it because you feel like you've missed things in her life?
Now, this wasn't a result Mr. Rich was not expecting. Well, after this, the obvious happened. But luckily, we have Judge Lake to do the damage control right. But man, I feel sorry for the betrayal Mr. Rich has gone through.
Out this
Mr. Rich.
Rich,
it's not like that. She looks just like
to me, she look like her.
Yo.
To me, she
Boy,
look
boo.
like her.
Boy, boo.
And far as
Boy, boo. Stevie Wonder can see that
All
your
right.
child.
Through ample testimony that you were intimate with somebody else during the time.
Absolutely.
she admitted now.
Okay, so we got that. She admitted it.
Now.
Now, being the judge of such a case of betrayal, isn't an easy job for Judge Lake. We are all settled down. It was now time for her to politely school Miss Holman, so she can be careful with her future adventures.
I tell him every day, you too good for me. I don't deserve you because I'm used to people treating me like this person right here. This is what I'm used to. This is my normal. This is my abnormal.
A person that you keep calling to come over my house.
Of course, because you got great sex. What the world? I don't have to do nothing.
Really?
That's only when me and him break up.
Well, ain't that a shocker, folks? Miss Wallace here thinks her ex, Mr. Wallace, is playing hide and seek with her baby just because of his fancy new wife. Must be a real brainiac move, that one. Let's just go to the testimony part, shall we?
Clearly, it's a problem that me and Ryan has been honest with each other in the past. I know exactly how many kids Ryan has. I'm not sure if she knows. I'm not sure why when he ran off with her that all of a sudden it was a problem. He was there when I told him I was pregnant.
If that was a little hard for you to understand, let me explain. They were married, then separated, and both started doing their own thing. Then one day, they decided to get busy. According to the defendant, Miss Wallace sweet-talked him into bed, talking about Orion's belt, moon, stars, and all that jazz. Just wow.
That's what brought the sex into it. So why would I sleep with somebody else's husband?
Orion's belt, that's his belt.
Oh, yeah, took me there.
So you went there.
Sun, moon, stars.
Sun, moon, and stars.
I saw it.
So that's the night you feel like you got pregnant with Raylan.
That is the night I got pregnant with.
All right.
Okay, so we have that part all figured out. Now they need to know where Erilyn was conceived. Mr. Wallace seems a bit forgetful, but it seems to have happened around December 27th to 28th, and the baby was born on September 22nd the following year. You can do the math. It's a tight window.
I don't think it was that window, but I was with somebody about 5 days before him.
When you think about that, the fact that you're having sex with somebody else in December is definitely reason that someone may have some doubt.
I mean, he could have had some doubt if that's how he felt, but he should have voiced that opinion, though.
Now, if that isn't a plot twist, can you just believe the audacity of this woman? In my opinion, she might be living in a delusion. But to negate what Miss Wallace did, she has a bizarre logic of some resembling facial features.
All my other kids, all the 7 kids have my arch eyebrows.
I understand, Ryan.
Raylan eyebrows are straight.
Are we talking about eyebrows?
We talking about eyebrows.
How in the world did I skip over the eyebrow chart?
I have the strong arch of eyebrow. Raylan doesn't have my strong arch eyebrows.
Now, before we move any further from this point, the lady in pink has been standing for quite some time now. So, how about now we just focus on her side of the story, as we already have a confession that has pushed this case to know where it's headed.
When you gonna send Raylan some diapers? When you gonna send her some Pampers? When you gonna send...
I shouldn't have to call.
And that's about it. And I asked her what's going on.
Okay, I want to ask you this. Are you the reason that he doubts? Because it sounds like you doubt.
Yeah, I'm doubting because she don't have the eyebrows.
Okay, so see, this is starting to make sense now.
So before we beat more stuff around the bush, how about we just focus on the DNA results and bring closure to Miss Wallace? Or congratulate Mr. Wallace on having a new wife. So, here's that DNA punch we all came to get.
Mr. Wallace, you are not the father. You all right?
It's okay.
Mr. Wallace, what are you feeling? You really thought you were?
Yes.
I thought he was too.
I followed her for 2 years.
Can you just see this man's face? Now this must be a real shocker. He seems shocked enough to turn on the light bulb. Now, isn't that just devastating? Here, have a look at what happens next.
I followed her for 2 years.
I feel bad for him if he really feels like
girl,
that.
don't be quiet.
I do.
Be quiet.
I'm just...
I feel bad for somebody now. Be quiet.
I do.
Oh my God, yes! Mommy, you were right. You were right, Mommy. You were right. I love you so much. I knew I should have believed you, Mom. God, it's weird.
Thank you so much. I'm really relieved now. I can tell everybody to...
Mr. Fresneda looks like Bob Marley with his dreadlocks. And that is kind of fitting because today's DNA test result may leave him singing No Woman, No Cry. Mr. Thompson wants to prove that Mr. Fresneda is not really the father of Ms. Jasmine Robinson, who Mr. Fresneda calls his beloved daughter. Here is why Mr. Thompson, who has never met Ms. Robinson, thinks she won't be beloved no more.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. When Miss Fresneda came back into the picture, I stopped seeing Sonia and she was pregnant. When the child was born, the family members came to me stating, that she looks like me and things of that nature.
Never, really. What a shock that must be. Imagine waking up one day and learning that some bald man may be your father when your real dad has such beautiful locks of hair. That would crush me, personally. Seriously, guys. Anyway, what makes Mr. Thompson so certain anyway, and why would he just reach out today?
It's sorry to say, but, I got a phone call saying that she had passed away. And I was like...
Are you speaking of Jasmine's mother, Ms. Robinson's mother?
Yes, and it was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today.
Yikes. You learn that your former lover died, and the first thing you decide to do is see if you can break up her child's life and her memory by coming out about an affair you had with her decades ago. It is little wonder you don't have a lot of hair, Mr. Thompson. Here is how Ms. Jasmine even found out about all of this.
So I had called my Aunt Felicia, and I said, Auntie Felicia, this guy named Ladner Thompson's messaging me on Facebook saying that he's my dad and not my dad. And then she was like, what's his name? And I had said Ladner Thompson, and she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, what? And then she started explaining to me like, oh yeah, he was with your mom while your dad was away.
Do you find it weird that people become experts in skull and face structure when they come to paternity court? Anyway, let's listen to Mr. Fresneda. What does he even have to say about all of this?
All right, so Mr. Fresneda, you had heard of Mr. Thompson.
Yes, we know each other.
You knew who he was.
Yes.
You were fully aware.
Of course.
Okay. And so what was the story as you understood?
I asked her mother, and like he says, on more than one occasion, and she always said to me that Jasmine was my firstborn, and that was good enough for me, Your Honor.
Oh, so this isn't shocking at all to Mr. Fresneda. It seems he knew this day was coming and accepted it completely. That's really rare, especially in paternity court where people get up to all sorts of annoying hijinks. And now let's listen to Jasmine's aunt and learn what her mother was thinking.
Did she ever mention to you that Mr. Thompson could potentially be Ms. Robinson's father?
She always denied it. If we brought it to her attention, she always said that Ladner was not Jasmine's father.
So why were you bringing it to her attention?
Because as Jasmine was growing up, as the aunt, started seeing a little difference.
Yikes. That is never a great sign when it comes to things like this. It's never a great sign at all. Anyway, here's what Mr. Robinson wants if the DNA test proves that he is indeed Jasmine's father.
To yours.
And if she is my child, I want to build a relationship with her, and her kids.
And
all
this
my
is the
kids.
first time you've ever met in person, truly
Yes.
met.
First time I ever laid eyes on her.
How do you feel as you look at her?
I feel hurt. I also feel happy.
Well, that's what the truth is for. If it has to come out, then it has to come out. That's the only way. And now we have the DNA test result that will help us truly learn the truth.
Whether Mr. Thompson or Mr. Fresneda is the father of 29-year-old Jasmine Robbins, the biological father is Mr. Thompson. You are her father.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Right.
Sorry.
Mr. Lindsay is here to chew gum and break up a happy family, and he's all out of gum. The ironic thing is that this happy family of the Knowles have been in paternity court once before, so they are technically not that happy of a family. Anyway, Mrs. Knowles says she is 100,000% sure that Mr. Lindsay isn't the father of her daughter, and the drama starts immediately.
Mrs. Knowles doesn't want to admit that she was with you and her husband during the same time, and once you're proven to be her child's father, you will fight for custody. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Miss Knowles, when you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
Me.
Him.
Me.
He was in the hospital with
I was in the hospital room.
Welp, someone is certainly lying here, and it's hard to know who it is. Is it the flustered Mrs. Knowles, or the super confident and very attractive-looking Mr. Lindsay? Well, it gets better, guys. It gets way better.
You remember getting a text message
Yeah.
that said that this child would more than likely...
more because I don't have that phone because she sort of took the phone when we broke up. But yes, I do remember that.
What did you do?
I asked her if it was mine or his, and I was told it was more than likely mine, but could have 1% chance of being his.
That's the face of someone who's being a bit economical with the truth, right? Does Mrs. Knowles look even a tiny bit trustworthy to you? She doesn't to me. Let's listen to Mr. Lindsay's evidence of why this is his biological child.
With the evidence that I have here, she was either sleeping with both of us or sleeping with me because she was living at my house during the time that she would have conceived.
Really? Let me see that. Thank you, Jerome. What does this evidence show me,
It's a
Mr. Lindsley?
calendar.
And please describe to the court what it outlines.
months.
She claims that she was back with Mr. Knowles.
Mrs. Knowles says this is a lie because her husband has photographic evidence showing that she was at his house around the period of conception. But there are still some shocking details that wow the court. Like this one right here.
When I had my mom go pick up her stuff, all of her stuff was at a different house, not Mr. Lindsley's.
Yeah, because she destroyed my house as she moved her stuff out, but that's another story.
And so she wasn't even really staying with Mr. Lindsley at the time.
She was staying with a friend of hers.
Okay, maybe the Knowles will be back here in paternity court for the third time because this story is heating up. Through all of this, Mr. Knowles is 110% sure that this child belongs to him, and his wife backs him up.
Look at him. He's got my eyes. He's got my hair. He's even got my...
Your hairline?
Yeah, my hairline.
Same hairline? That's what you were showing me?
But he looks like me all around. He's my little prodigy.
I just want to get the results, Your Honor, and be done with him, period. It's chaotic. I want to move on with my family and be away from all this.
Wouldn't that just be grand? But that is not how it works over here, sweetie. But Mr. Lindsay has a shocking confession to make. He says Mrs. Knowles just does this thing where she goes back and forth every 2 months. Listen to him talk.
I really don't know why she changes her mind every 2 months.
Why do you say every 2 months?
We'll quit talking for a month and a half here and there, and then next I know, I'll get a message from a random number talking about, hi.
There is no way, shape, or form I contact this man. I keep blocking every single number.
You don't have a Google text message app?
Nope.
A total complete mess. And you know Judge Lauren knows what she is talking about because she has seen many messes over the years. But Mrs. Knowles says this never happened and she never goes back and forth with anyone. Well, except for that one time when she used to do exactly that.
The only time that I went back and forth with anybody is when I was with my exes, and I left them to be with him because I wanted to be happy. When I found out I was pregnant with my last child when we came to court, I wanted to make things work before we, came and did all that stuff. And I tried to make it work because I was happy then for a while.
Really? Tears? Really? Is Mrs. Knowles here trying to play the victim? And did she just confess that she only went back to her husband after her boyfriend kicked her out? You know what? Mr. Knowles is surely one of God's strongest soldiers. Surely! Gosh, please let us see that DNA test and put this family out of their misery.
Mr. Lindsley, or Mr. Knowles, is the father of 3-month-old Tyler Knowles Jr. The biological father is Mr. Knowles.
I knew he was my child all along. The way he looks at me. You can see in his eyes the way he looks at me.
Miss Conrad thought it would be a pretty rad thing to have an affair with the milkman, constantly cheat on her husband, and generally be a horrible mother and wife. She thought she would get away with it, but today her daughter is in court to expose her and prove her infidelity. Anyway, Mr. Horton, the father of Ms. Horton, says he isn't sure Ms. Horton is his child.
If she really is mine, I have no idea. I don't know. She was unfaithful all the time, but I raised my daughter since she was little. But I'm getting slack from other family members and friends that say that she's not my daughter because she has blue eyes, and I have brown. The whole family has brown. The mother has brown eyes. There's nobody in my family has blue eyes.
Phew! But Ms. Conrad says it's all a lie, and she is 100 to 200% sure that Ms. Horton belongs to Mr. Horton. Okay, but why not 1,000% then? Ms. Conrad, well, Mr. Horton isn't buying that gobbledock.
Ms. Horton is not.
Rebuttal. I mean, if you sleep around with different men and you're sleeping at the same time, how can you be sure who the parent is? How can you be sure?
Because I know when I did.
So it is your testimony that Miss Conrad was sleeping around with various men.
My kids can tell you that. She can tell you that. One time we were in the house.
That's a lot of sneaky business, Ms. Conrad. And guess what? Just take a guess. Ms. Conrad admits all of it. She's been cheating quite all right, but she says it isn't all that bad because she just did it when the kids were born, which makes everything just great, doesn't it? But Mr. Horton disagrees a lot.
In that period of time, there was always been affairs, always. In my opinion, if there's many stuck out of it in her, she'd be a porcupine. And that's the way I look at it.
That was wrong. I just got that. Okay. We want to be respectful in the courtroom.
I'm trying to be respectful. That's why I put it nicely.
Well, that is surely an interesting way to frame things. You know what? You might be correct that I cheated on you with 10,000 men, but please say it respectfully. But Mr. Horton isn't done. He is 1,000,000% sure that Ms. Conrad was seeing other men during the time Ms. Horton was conceived. Listen to him go.
And we had a mailman that had light hair and blue eyes and had a beauty mark right here. My daughter has blue eyes, blonde hair, and a beauty mark in the same exact spot.
It's cute though.
There was a mailman in your town.
Yes, there was.
Sir, you brought an exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Gosh, imagine living with the knowledge that your child may not actually be related to you all this time. And if this is true, then we could probably safely assume that Ms. Horton isn't Mr. Horton's kid. But let's hear from Ms. Conrad and see if this is just a nice accidental coincidence that's totally coincidental.
You had outside relationship.
Yeah, that was after Brenda was born.
But this was after the children were born. You said, but you know who this mailman is. He's talking about. You don't even remember this person.
Oh, no, Your Honor. This is new to me.
That's because there was so many of them.
So the milkman, what happened to the milkman?
Hold
now
on.
It's the mailman. It was the milkman.
Wow, this is one messy family. But things are about to get crazier because Ms. Conrad says all of this is a waste of her precious time. Why would she say that? Well, she has had a DNA test done before, and the result was that Mr. Horton was her child's father. And here is what Mr. Horton has to say about that.
Mr. Horton, have you ever seen this paperwork?
That story is fabricated. There was no judge ordered anything. I asked for the DNA test. I've never seen nothing. I've been questioning Tony since she's been born, and she's even questioned it. That's the reason why we're here, Your Honor.
Since the day this child was born,
No,
26 years ago, you've questioned whether or not she was yours?
Yes.
So we've got a mailman, a milkman, and a DNA test result that could probably be fake. We don't know what the DNA test is going to tell us, but it will certainly end this mystery once and for all. And let's hear it.
Mr. Horton, you are the father.
Oh my God! Yes! Mommy, you were right! You were right, Mommy!
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you, Your
so
Honor.
much. It's such a blessing.
I'm really relieved now. I can tell everybody to kiss my butt.
Well, listen, you could have just said, I can live with this doubt. Let's never get the answer. Right.
You know that feeling when you accidentally pay child support and then only realize your mistake 18 years later? Wait, you don't know that feeling? Well, Mr. Dittmer here knows all about it, and that's his claim today. He says he just accidentally agreed to pay child support for Ms. Lee, and he is certainly not her daughter's father.
Into paying child support, Your Honor. They sent certified mail to my mother's house, and I wasn't there. I was in Colorado. And when the certified mail came, my stepdad signed it. So they held court without me and found me in default because I wasn't there. Well, anyways, when I came back from Colorado, it was...
Gosh, that can leave a man extremely bitter. But Ms. Krieger isn't just coming empty-handed. She says she has loads of pictures that will prove her case with basically zero doubt. And here are those explosive pictures.
Jamie as a baby.
Jamie as a little girl.
Yes.
The next picture is
Mr. Dittmer.
Mr. Dittmer, and you believe they look exactly alike.
Look at him, yeah. How can he deny her?
Do you see the similarity?
Not really, Your Honor.
Miss Lee, were you intimate with anyone else?
Yes, I was.
Okay, that's not really great evidence either, but we'll take it. Our absent father who accidentally paid child support here also has something he calls evidence to prove his claim.
The older two children have blue eyes and blonde hair. Jamie's always had darker hair with a hazel or brown.
And you never claimed them or paid child support on them. Why?
Well, because you didn't tag them and you never had me sign
If you were a man and
birth
responsible,
certificate.
you would have signed the birth certificate.
Yeah, exactly. That expression on Judge Lauren's face? Precisely. Because this case is going to get even weirder before it gets better. It might not even get better. So, Mr. Dittmer has 2 older children, but he says Ms. Jamie Krieger isn't his daughter because, and get this, she's a fatso.
The older children have blonde hair, blue eyes. Jamie has dark hair, hazel or brown eyes. The older children are more athletic.
Well, every child is different.
Well, why would she trick me into paying child support like that, Your Honor? I mean, I wasn't even at the hospital when Jamie was born.
You most certainly were.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, but why does the mother sound like the Green Goblin all of a sudden? But this husband and wife spat isn't done yet. In fact, it's not even yet started. Look at them argue.
Oh, it's because her mother was messing around with another fella about the time that Jamie was conceived.
No,
I believe
I
a
was
couple
not,
other
Your
fellas.
Honor.
Yes, you were.
I had been going to church, Your Honor, with his mother, and I had given my life to the Lord, and that is how it happened, because I went off the pill. I said, I'm not having sex again until I'm married.
Imagine being Jaime Lee and sat there watching your parents air out all their dirty laundry. Gosh, I would be so embarrassed for them and for me. And even Judge Lauren agrees.
Now, this is unfortunate, Miss Krieger, Jamie, that you have to hear any of this.
From what I hear, my mom's admitted it was, but it was the sister before me, but he doesn't deny her, and he always gripes about how he had to pay child support on me.
And that leads you to believe that it's about the money.
Yes, that's why it's
Your Honor, the child
a little
support's
bit
been
more.
paid. I've got the final payment right here.
Great! So he paid the child support and was done with that. But that doesn't mean Mr. Dittmer had any plans on admitting that Jaime was his daughter, and that's why we are in paternity court today. He also has a few more words for Miss Lee.
It's because her mother's greedy. I mean, when Jamie lived with a lady on the next street behind her mother, the child support check went to the next street over and her mother got upset.
What I'm trying to get at, Miss Krieger, beyond the money, I mean, this has had to affect you. And I see the tears in your eyes. It's as if she has so much in her heart to say.
That is completely true. What we should be concerned with is the DNA test results, and Judge Lake has that for us today. So who is the father? Mr. Dittmer or somebody else?
Mr. Dittmer, you are her father.
Oh.
How do you feel now that you know for sure he's your biological father?
I never had any doubts. It's just been dealing with all this.
Mr. Young says he will fight to the death to avoid being trapped by a child. That's right. He says Ms. Nichols' baby can never be his child, and that she just wants to use the baby to make his life miserable. But what could he have done to Ms. Nichols to make her that mad?
He started denying my daughter before his new relationship. He actually started denying her when I moved out of his house because he was cheating.
Really?
I've known Mr. Young for 19 years. We met when we were 15 years old, and when I met him again on Facebook, you know, we automatically moved in together, you know.
That's a lie. We didn't automatically move in. She hit me up on Facebook, talking about because she been trying to find me.
Yeah, wow, indeed. This potential father says that Nichols was living with her sugar daddy when he met her, and that her baby belongs to the sugar daddy. And Nichols says that a total and complete lie from the depths of hell. Here is what she says happened.
An entire year?
An entire year.
And during that time, you all were having a sexual relationship as well?
Only that, yes.
You said only that?
Yeah, because it was nothing more. That's all she wanted to do.
You know, there's plenty of statuses on my Facebook where us together. He even had changed his relationship status.
Yikes, Mr. Young. Don't get caught in easy lies like that. If it's gonna be so easy to catch you in a lie, don't even tell the lie. But Mr. Young ain't no slacker either. He's got his own evidence too.
She was telling this man that she was living with, that I was her cousin.
Yes, I absolutely did.
When he was bringing her over to my house, dropping her off, and she telling me that he's just a friend of the family, but couldn't find out
no,
he
I
was
did
the man
not.
that she was sleeping with.
No, Your
Okay,
Honor.
wait a minute. Who is this man?
He's a friend of mine.
Do you have sex with him?
No, I do not.
You don't have
How
sex?
old is he?
73.
You know what, Nichols? That sounds exactly like a sugar daddy. A 73-year-old man who does any and everything you ask him to. That's a sugar father right there. Lots of sugar, in fact. Too much sugar. Anyway, Mr. Young can't complain too much because he got a little sugar from the sugar dispensary too. Now let's find out if Nichols really slept with this man.
Your Honor, she told me
No,
that
I
she used
didn't.
to. She told me she used to sleep with him before. She cut it off.
No, I
That's
did
what
not.
she told me.
I
I said, well, ain't no, because I told her, ain't no man gonna be giving her no money without him not getting nothing in return. She
I
said,
told
oh well,
you that we
he's
had
just a friend of
sexual
the
contact,
family.
never intercourse.
Sexual contact. What was sexual
Never
contact?
intercourse.
What's sexual
You don't know
contact?
the difference between sexual
What's
contact
sexual
and intercourse?
contact? That means you sleeping with him.
Sheesh. You might think, hold up, this can't get worse than this. And you would be very wrong, because this web of sugar daddies and babies and boyfriends just gets even weirder with everything Nichols says.
Everybody didn't talk.
Okay, well, y'all so much talking about my sugar daddy. I haven't lied to either one of them about this man.
Yes, you did lie to you lied to the sugar daddy about me, and you lied to me first.
I lied to him about you, but I did not lie to Sean about him.
So why
You
was you-
said you lied to the sugar daddy about Mr. Young.
Yes, I
Because
did.
he didn't want him to get cut off.
What did you say?
I told him that he was my cousin.
If it's the truth, then it's the truth, baby. Let's talk more about the truth. Judge Lauren administered a lie detector test on Nichols to find out if she was telling the truth about her sugar daddy, and here is what the test said.
When we asked you if once you began a sexual relationship with Sean, did you have sexual intercourse with anyone else, you said yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And the lie detector determined you were being truthful. Mr. Young, you seem surprised by that.
No, I don't. I'm saying wow because I already knew that.
Well, that seems convenient. Now let us find out the truth. Is Mr. Young the father, or is the father some older gentleman who Nichols calls her sugar daddy? Judge Lauren has the truth for us.
Mr. Young, you are her father.
Surprise, surprise.
And I see tears in your eyes because what do you feel in this
Because, like, his dad wasn't in his life. So he should know that how I would feel, how his mom felt. Break the cycle.
Now we know this is your biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am. That's what
You
I'm
can't keep going on the way you going. This little girl is gonna grow up with all of this negative energy surrounding her.
I was told that her ex was in the bed.
While you're out fishing?
Yes.
Who told you that?
A family member.
How would they know who I had in my bed?
They seen him.
Yeah, coming out of the house because you and him are friends, and you know
That's not her.
everything.
That's not
You
him.
know that he was at my house,
It is
even
not
when you
him.
were
I'm
there
not talking
too.
about.
For what we do at DNA Diagnostic Center in order to exclude one of the two individuals. And in this particular case, that's exactly what we did.
But we're closer. We have that bigger connection because we do share the same mother and the same father. So I feel like in a way it kind of broke a connection that we've never been really close. That was the way that we were close. That it was the connection that we had. You know, we could always say that our Bubba, yeah, he's our Bubba, but we're closer. We have that bigger connection because we do share the same mother and the same father. So I feel like in a way it kind of broke a connection that we had.
From the outset, the situation is utterly chaotic. This minor detail completely disorients everyone, captivating Judge Lake and the entire audience. Trust me, it is about to become significantly more bizarre, as two brothers may potentially be the father.
Two brothers could be the father. Two brothers with the same name could be the biological father. This is a lot.
It is.
It really is.
When he came to me and he told me that he was my dad, I went to family members and I asked them, did you know that there was a possibility? They've all told me they believe Steve is my dad.
The subsequent segment intensifies the gravity of the situation considerably, so prepare yourself, as the next piece of evidence is truly extraordinary.
But Michael Shockley, you still believe you are Desiree's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. She's always been my little girl, so she'll never not be my little girl. But like, I have all girls and he's got all boys. All boys and one girl. That's it.
At this point, Michael attempts to substantiate his assertion with a family tree. Just when we believe the atmosphere is lighthearted, Michael's daughter enters to share her
You
perspective.
submitted a chart.
You like my chart?
So, Mike, you say you have all girls.
Yes, ma'am.
3 girls and Desiree's right there in the middle.
Yep.
Steve, you have all boys.
Yes, Your Honor.
5 boys.
And one daughter.
He's serious about that one daughter.
Here comes Crystal, Michael's daughter, who adds an additional layer of emotion to this familial entanglement. Just when it seems to be all about familial affection, the mood takes a sharp emotional turn.
Question. Have you ever had any doubt in
No,
your
ma'am.
mind? Your whole life growing up, you knew Desiree to be your sister.
Yes, our whole life we fought as kids over who was more of a daddy's girl. She'd be like, oh, you're mama's girl. No, I'm daddy's girl. And you know, we went back and forth. We grew up with him. He's on our birth certificates. He's got our names tattooed on his neck.
Crystal does not hold back and poses a challenging question. Why did Steve wait 2 full decades to speak up? Her inquiry certainly stirs the pot, leading to Desiree's opportunity to express her feelings next.
So to me, with this going on, I've always questioned why did he never come forward before? Why wait all this time? It doesn't make sense. Why would you wait 20 years to come up and say something? Why? That hurt us more than anything. If you were, why did you wait?
But why you blaming me? I mean, like I said a while ago, I would have told her years ago if they hadn't kept her from me.
Desiree's account of how this situation impacts her entire family is genuinely heartbreaking, and the next segment is poised to amplify this sadness.
And now you have to live with the fact that you don't know that.
We've never been really close. That was the way that we were close. That it was the connection that we had. You know, we could always say that our Bubba, yeah, he's our Bubba, but we're closer. We have that bigger connection because we do share the same mother and the same father. So I feel like in a way it kind of broke a connection that we had.
Judge Lake offers her wise and comforting words to support Desiree through this emotional journey. But just wait until science is introduced into this family saga.
It's heartbreaking to the point that I feel like I've been lied to my entire life. I've been, like, my entire first 20 years as far as who my dad is has been one big lie.
Who do you call dad?
Steve.
Oh, you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you believe is your biological father?
In my heart, I feel like Steve is.
Unexpectedly, Judge Lake invites Dr. Barr, a DNA specialist, to clarify the paternity issue scientifically. Now, everyone is on edge as they approach the moment of truth.
Difficult thing to do genetically to sort out which of the two is the true biological father. However, what we do at DNA Diagnostic Center in order to exclude one of the two individuals. And in this particular case, that's exactly what we did. We tested almost twice the number of samples of DNA that we normally test in order to exclude absolutely one of the two individuals.
Even despite the high stakes, Desiree strives to maintain a sense of optimism, expressing her desire to have both brothers in her life. However, just as the atmosphere begins to feel warm, her mother interjects with a tearful confession.
Regardless of whichever it turns out is my dad, I still want a relationship with both of them. Just one is my uncle, one is my dad.
And you deserve that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Shockley, Steve Shockley, if the results show you are not her biological father, will you regret ever mentioning this to her?
No, Your Honor.
Desiree's mother, Miss Groh, enters with a heartfelt apology that amplifies the emotional intensity tenfold. Now, the moment we have all been anticipating is finally upon us.
I can't explain it. I would like to be her dad because they've always had such a strong bond. You know, her growing up, you know, I can't change the past. I'm sorry for a lot of things, but in my heart, I feel like Mike is her dad. I just want Desiree to get the answers that she needs.
I'm glad, because I want you to get the answers you need.
Everyone holds their breath as Judge Lake prepares to disclose the DNA results, and the room falls completely silent.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Steve Shockley.
This situation is quite remarkable as Miss Hines reveals details about their Christmas Eve gathering. Prepare yourself as the ensuing dialogue becomes even more intriguing.
Christmas Eve, we had sex in the car. After that, I told him that I was pregnant. He basically said that he gave me a Christmas gift because he didn't give me anything for Christmas.
More than likely, I always be with my family on Christmas because we have like traditions.
This is Christmas Eve and not Christmas. We agreed to be with our family on Christmas.
The drama escalates when Mr. Jackson alleges that Miss Hines was involved with another man. The narrative is already quite sensational, but Mr. Jackson is poised to make further accusations regarding her questionable actions.
I'm disagreeing on both behalves because she was living with another male, so it's kind of like hard to like judge her because like.
So while you all were in this relationship or just having sex in the car, she was in a relationship with somebody else.
Yeah, it was a relationship. She had another male living with her.
Mr. Jackson does not shy away from expressing that he investigated her residence and discovered a box of protection. Just when it seems the revelations might conclude, Mr. Jackson continues to elaborate on her conduct.
And it was a time that like I was snooping around her house, and because she had said it was taking some stuff to store it. I seen a box, and in that box it was some condoms in the box, and I thought she was like.
So you thought at that point that man and her were having sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that is.
Taking on the role of an investigator, Mr. Jackson recounts numerous instances where he observed Miss Hines engaging with other men, indicating that he has a wealth of additional drama to unveil.
And I was on vacation one time, like I was snooping around, and I got a phone, and I seen like she was texting numerous people. So I had snooped and went through one of the texts, and I seen like she was texting this guy, and he was like calling her bouncy.
You're doing a lot of snooping.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're snooping, why are you even with her then?
I've just seen so many things that seem shady.
The tension heightens when Mr. Jackson asserts that her communications with her ex-partner were causing him feelings of insecurity. If you believed that was the climax, think again. The situation is about to become even more convoluted.
He's calling me whore or hoe, whatever, sleeping around, but that's what he's been doing since we got together.
So from the looks of these messages, it seems like you entertaining these women.
The reason why I did what I did because like she had messages in her phone from her other fella that was talking about working on their relationship.
Miss Hines's close friend intervenes, and she does not hold back her opinions. The court appears unimpressed with Mr. Jackson's defense, leaving everyone eager to see what justification he will present next.
I know she's been pretty much taking care of him by herself with my assistance, her mother, no help from him. I do most of the babysitting.
This woman is
He's
irrelevant.
paid me twice for babysitting. $10 a piece, both times. I'm more of a father to this child than he is.
Mr. Jackson concedes that he did not feel a connection with Maz, as the child did not resemble him. One can almost sense the collective eye roll from the audience. The judge does not allow this statement to pass unchallenged, and the atmosphere intensifies as Miss Hines speaks candidly about her
Mr.
son.
Jackson, did you go to any doctor's appointment?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Were you there at the birth?
Not at the birth, but I came after the birth.
And when you saw the baby, what did you feel?
I really didn't feel a connection because like he didn't have really much of my features, and I seen that he had like a blondish orange hair, and that's just not my family.
Okay,
so
but
I had
if
a
you
reason
didn't
to
feel a
doubt right
connection
there.
from the beginning, why didn't you take the paternity test when she offered to pay for it?
Miss Hines becomes emotional while articulating that Mayas deserves to know his family, particularly since he lacks male role models in his life. This heartfelt plea resonates with the court, but before emotions can escalate further, Judge Lake turns to Mr. Jackson for his significant response.
My son needs a father. He needs to know who his people is, where he comes from. It ain't just me. Like, we have no boys in our family. Like, he got little cousins he could play with. Like, after today, he still don't have to be in his son's life. It's fine, but I need him to know and his people to realize that you do have a son.
The judge inquires what Mr. Jackson would do if it turns out that Mas is indeed his son. Mr. Jackson hesitates, stating that he would wish to be involved if he is the father. This pivotal moment is charged with anticipation, especially with a DNA test imminent, setting the stage for heightened drama.
If, in fact, Matthias is found to be your biological child.
My intention is I would love to have a son because I have a daughter already. I don't really get to spend much time with her, and because she's out of the city, and at least try to make things work out with Rachel. But these accusations and the things that I've seen in the past.
The revelation is monumental.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you are Matthias's father.
This revelation establishes a dramatic atmosphere for the upcoming hearing. Mr. Connor is visibly agitated, firmly believing he is not the father of the child in question. He emphasizes how this misunderstanding has drastically affected both his life and finances, including a period of incarceration due to missed child support payments. However, the situation is about to escalate as Miss Wallace is poised to respond.
Mr. Connor, you say a one-time fling with the defendant turned into more than 15 years of child support payments and even jail time for a child you have never believed is yours. You need today's results to prove you are not her child father.
As tensions rise, Mr. Wallace expresses his trust in his mother, yet he cannot dismiss the doubts that have arisen. Mr. Connor articulates the grievances he feels he has endured, intensifying the emotional stakes of the hearing. The situation is bound to become even more complicated.
Mr. Wallace, you say you trust your mother, but acknowledge Mr. Connor's recent actions have given you doubt. Mr. Connor.
Today's results are so important, Your Honor, because I need to undo a terrible injustice that's been inflicted upon me and my family. It's caused a lot of problems, financially especially.
The circumstances for Mr. Connor are dire. He describes the severe impact of his financial struggles stemming from his imprisonment due to unpaid child support, which has resulted in the loss of both his home and job. This ongoing saga has profoundly disrupted his life. However, the impending confrontation promises to be particularly dramatic.
It's times when I can't afford things. I've even been to jail. 2005, November the 5th until January 2006. There was no home for me to go to. I lost my car, I lost my job. I was 36 years old. I had to start all over. It's making my character look real bad, Your Honor. Know for a fact that she know he's not mine.
Prepare for a tumultuous exchange as Miss Wallace accuses Mr. Connor of attempting to evade child support obligations while he staunchly denies paternity. The courtroom atmosphere is charged with emotional accusations and disputes regarding responsibilities and trust, and the tension is far from dissipating.
Your Honor, he just wants off child support. For one, it was more than just a one-night fling.
You know Jeffrey isn't my child, and I have you on Facebook.
You can quit pointing your fingers because I'm an adult.
No, you're not. What kind of adult?
I'm 42 years old. I raised my 3 kids by myself.
You may find it hard to believe, but Mr. Connor insists that his interaction with Miss Wallace was merely a fleeting affair that did not result in conception, directly challenging her narrative. He maintains that it was a singular event. Yet Miss Wallace's recollection of the situation presents a starkly different account.
Can you tell me about that? Do you remember this relationship, encounter?
There wasn't a relationship. I met her through a family member. We all used to hang out a little bit here or there in the fall. We came together one time, and up on penetration, she changed her mind. And
this unexpected twist may leave you astonished. In contrast to Mr. Connor's claims, Miss Wallace reflects on what she describes as a year-long relationship filled with numerous encounters, further complicating the narrative. She even recounts the moment she discovered her pregnancy. And just when it seems the situation cannot become more convoluted, the explosive confrontation that ensues will keep you captivated.
Remember him and I being in a whole year relationship, and we had sex numerous of times, Your Honor. And he did know. Well, I got sick. How I found out that I was pregnant. I got sick. My mom taking me to my doctor's appointment, and that's when I found out I was 2 months pregnant. I called you and I told you. Back then we had pagers. Shut your lying butt up.
The tension continues to escalate as the hearing progresses, allowing us to explore the intricate details of Mr. Connor's limited interactions with Jeffrey, alongside the persistent disputes regarding paternity and child support. This segment highlights the multifaceted personal and legal complications at play. Stay tuned, as the forthcoming shocking verdict is sure to leave you in disbelief.
And you agree to that, Miss Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
That
Your
happened.
Honor.
And
Yes.
during the time from 3 to 4 months, 5 years old, did you all ever have conversations about Jeffrey at all?
Yes, me and her had a
He
couple
told
of
me that he
conversations.
wanted to be in his son's life. I told him I did not want to be in a relationship with him. You know,
You're a professional liar.
Now, the moment of revelation that everyone has been anticipating is upon us.
You are not the father.
I already knew it.
I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. You are my sister. Valentine doesn't manage me.
So bottom of the barrel. Once he broke off the line, I don't love you.
He never
If
told me
I were
that.
if I were you, I'd be here for my son.
He never told
No,
me
you
that.
still trying to argue with him.
The dates adds up. Around the same time I got pregnant with Key Marvy is around the same time I got pregnant with Adonis, and he was the only woman I was sleeping with. Besides, it was him and another person, but he's for sure the father.
Miss Jones told me that she was in a whole relationship.
You knew I was in a relationship. You ruined my relationship.
No, I did not.
According to Mr. Barlow, baby Jabel didn't resemble his other kids. Miss Winslow, clearly fed up with all the mudslinging, finally stood her ground, and it was about time. This guy was testing everyone's patience. Finally, time to roll them out.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Barlow, you
It was a real-life Who's the Daddy wedding special edition. The plaintiff had not one but two potential candidates for the role of father in her life, and she was determined to uncover the truth.
are here to determine if one of two men we've tested for paternity is your biological father. You hope to leave this courtroom today knowing your father's identity so he can walk you down the aisle at your wedding.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kelly took us through her journey of seeking answers. After enduring rough teenage years, she finally met the two possible fathers. While one remained distant, Mr. Duncan welcomed her with open arms, a kind gesture.
I might have had a little doubt because at that time she was living with a guy. She was living with a guy, but she was a nice looking girl and I was a little bit older, and maybe it might have been wrong, but she was real pretty. And I didn't look that bad myself back then, and I'm trying to bring over to my side, but she's living with another guy.
Then there was Mommy Dearest, the orchestrator of this entire situation. She stepped forward with her truth. Though she cherished her daughter and wanted her to find closure, she acknowledged that Miss Kelly was paying the price for her past mistakes.
I was young when I had her, and I made some mistakes, and my mom wound up wanting to step to the plate and raise her. So my mom and my dad raised her, and like I said, when my dad got killed, it really disturbed her. She's seen everything happen, so she started being rebellious towards my mom, and everything showed out in school and all. And I knew it was time. My mom never wanted her to know who her father was.
Next, the spotlight turned to the baby daddy. Mr. Duncan recounted how he took in the baby mama and her father after a heated exchange, though he accepted Miss Destiny as his daughter.
And Miss Kelly had spent some time together, and I took her and Destiny home. And I ain't gonna say what the words was, but they weren't no good words.
Understood.
So I told him, I said, well, I had my own house, I had my own land, I had a good job, I had a good car, and I wasn't that bad look.
That's you?
That's me right now.
As it turned out, the people weren't the only source of trouble for Mr. Duncan. Mommy Dearest also posed her own challenges. Their living arrangement didn't last long.
The same pain that she was going through by people saying this is your daddy and that's your dad and stuff like that. I went through the same pain of them telling me that that ain't my child. I know you don't know how it would feel for somebody to say that to you, but it really do hurt. Every time they say it, every time you hear it, I mean, it just breaks you down, but I'm not sure that I'm her father.
But wait, there's more. Miss Kelly Kelly's journey wasn't over. Mr. Anthony, the other potential father, was still very much in the picture. She had met him too, but their encounter had been less than pleasant.
Do you remember the relationship with Mr. Anthony?
Yes, Your Honor, it was not even what you want to call a relationship. It was we never seen each other again or nothing.
So it was more of a one-night stand?
Yeah, pretty much.
You never saw him again?
No, I mean, I seen him as far as like around town or whatever, but
you never were intimate with him again?
Relationship-wise or nothing.
Now the question arose, what were these men hoping for from today's results? Miss Kelly longed for a real father, someone who could meet her kids and share in their lives, a heartfelt sentiment.
I know this man, and I don't have nothing against this man. If this is this man's daughter, then I'm proud for him to have his child, because if you ever had a child and you were glad to have a child, this would be one up. So if this is his child, then I know he'll be more than proud for her to be his daughter.
The grand reveal was at hand. Would Miss Kelly gain the father she had always dreamed of to walk her down the aisle? Let's find out.
Mr. Duncan, you are not her father. How are you feeling?
Confused still.
That's understandable.
A heartfelt quest for closure, decades in the making. That's what brought this plaintiff to court today. Tired of lies and uncertainty, she set out on a journey to find her real father.
You grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, "I am not your daddy."
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother then told you, and the defendant, David Dorsey, is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity today. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It all started with a stunning deathbed confession that set Miss Hannon on the journey of a lifetime. She'd heard of Mr. Dorsey in the past, but had never actually seen him until now.
Heart to hearts, you know, when she got sick, she was sick my whole entire life. You know, she would be talking about Kimball, she would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father."
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, "I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father."
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dorsey finally appeared in court, but when he entered, he walked right past the potential daughter without even a glance. It didn't go unnoticed. The judge clocked it, but what came next was even more shocking.
This young woman has waited many, many years to meet you. She's been told that you are her biological father. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really.
Why?
Because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't remember her mother?
I don't know her mother.
Let's pause to appreciate just how bizarre this situation was. Mr. Dorsey outright denied ever having contact with Miss Veronica, plaintiff's mother, despite a witness from her side recognizing him.
What information can you provide today?
Me and Fallon's mother, Veronica, we work together, and I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom lunch. Her mom would talk about her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
Miss Hannon was torn. On one side, she had a woman claiming her as a sister. On the other, a potential father who seemed to be playing a masterful game of denial.
I love you too. That's my sister. I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone. Went onto Facebook, you know, and I looked up her name. And when I seen her face, I was like, if that's not me, maybe about a good 50 pounds ago.
Sorry for it. I feel one kind of way, but then I feel bad. I missed out on her life. If I am her father.
Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The envelope holding the answers was here, ready to cut through all the drama. The verdict was about to be revealed. Let's go.
It's been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are my sister.
If you like this paternity video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. Stay tuned.
Yes! I have all girls and he's got all boys. All boys and one girl. That's it.
Why would you wait 20 years to come up and say something? Why? That hurt us more than anything. If you were, why did you wait?
But why you blaming me? I mean, like I said a while ago, I would have told her years ago if they hadn't kept her from me.
That was the way that we were close. That it was the connection that we had. You know, we could always say that our Bubba, yeah, he's our Bubba, but we're closer. We have that bigger connection because we do share the same mother and the same father. So I feel like in a way it kind of broke a connection that we had. So
from the looks of these messages, it seems like you entertaining these women.
The reason why I did what I did because like she had messages in her phone from her other fella that was talking about working on their relationship.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you.
Get ready for a wild ride because Miss Shan kicks things off by claiming she needs to prove that Mr. Hollis is the father of her baby. But just wait until you hear Mr. Hollis's shocking reply coming up next.
Miss Shands, you appear in court today because you are devastated that your first love and the person you lost your virginity to is now denying your 15-month-old son, Aiden. You say once you prove to the defendant that he is the father, you hope you two can finally be a family.
Things are about to get really messy as Mr. Hollis and his mom accuse Miss Shan of being a pathological liar, insisting they already know who the real dad is. It's like a soap opera unfolding, but hold on, it's about to get even more intense.
Mr. Hollis, you are here with your mother and you both testify that Miss Shan is a pathological liar and you both don't believe you fathered her son, but claim to know who did.
Just when you think it can't get any crazier, Miss Shan reveals she had a fling with one of Mr. Hollis's friends, which stirred up a whole drama in their friend group. The audience is on the edge of their seats, and Judge Lake can't help but shake her head. And trust me, there's still more to come.
Me and his was close friends once before.
But
she used to come back and tell me that Mr. Amir, he was messing with one of my friends. We both were young at the time. So,
both y'all young now?
Yeah, we still are young. But I thought it was cool to go mess with one of his friends because he had slept with one of mine. We both had made a mistake.
Then Judge Lake asked Miss Shan if she used protection with Mr. Hollis's friend, and she flat out says no. Yep, there's still a ton more drama to uncover.
You have revenge sex with one of his friends. And did you use protection?
No.
And then how many times did you have sex with this friend of his?
Multiple times.
But were you also still being intimate with Mr. Hollis?
We had broke up. When me and his friend had an affair, we wasn't together. We was not together at all.
An affair.
It gets even more complicated when Miss Shan talks about how she found out she was pregnant and how she first broke the news to Mr. Hollis's friend instead of Mr. Hollis. The lack of communication just fuels the mistrust. But believe me, the surprises are far from over.
So you find out you're 5 months pregnant. What happens? Who do you tell?
Well, first I told his friend because that's the person I was going with at the time. We ended up going out.
When she was going with my friend, she was still sneaking around with me anyway because I felt like he did it to me. So y'all together, I'm finna go and do what I gotta do.
Yeah, the friend was with me when Aiden was born in the hospital in labor.
Sent my mom there because I knew there was a possibility that my son could be the dad as well. He favored my son when he was born.
I wasn't never invited. Like, anything I ever found out about the baby, I found out about myself. Like, I ain't even know she was in labor. I had to find that out.
Finally, the DNA test results are in, and guess what?
Like, when I heard the song at first, especially the first song, I forgot how it started, but he put my name in it, the friend name in it, but he erased it and changed it to a whole different, and then he came out with the...
And we have some of the lyrics to that song, and I can't be cuffing Columbus hoe. About a year ago, I was in love with a thought. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hollis, you are not the father.
So, here's the deal, Miss Baker. Are you okay? Right from the start, things are completely wild. This little twist throws everyone off and pulls Judge Lake and the audience right in. Trust me, it's about to get even crazier.
2 brothers could be the father. 2 brothers with the same name could be the biological father. This is a lot.
It is.
It really is.
When he came to me and he told me that he was my dad, I went to family members and I asked them, did you know that there was a possibility? They've all told me they believe Steve is my dad.
Now, the next part really ramps up the intensity, so get ready because what comes next is on another level.
But Michael Shockley, you still believe you are Desiree's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. She's always been my little girl, so she'll never not be my little girl. But like, I have all girls and he's got all boys.
All boys and one girl.
That's it.
So you submitted a chart.
You like my chart?
So, Mike, you say you have all girls.
Yes, ma'am.
3 girls and Desiree's right there in the middle.
Yep.
Steve, you have all boys.
Yes, Your Honor.
5 boys.
And 1 daughter.
He's serious about that 1 daughter.
Michael tries to back up his story with a family tree, but just when we think it's all fun and games, his daughter chimes in with her thoughts. Here comes Crystal, adding even more drama to this family situation. Just when it seems like it's all about family love, things take a serious turn.
We fought as kids over who was more of a daddy's girl. She'd be like, oh, you're mama's girl. No, I'm daddy's girl. And we went back and forth. We grew up with him. He's on our birth certificates. He's got our names tattooed on his neck.
And Crystal doesn't hold back and asks a tough question. Why did Steve wait 20 years to speak up? Her question definitely shakes things up, and now it's Desiree's turn to share her feelings.
So to me, with this going on, I've always questioned why did he never come forward before? Why wait all this time? It doesn't make sense. Why would you wait 20 years to come up and say something? Why? That hurt us more than anything. If you were, why did you wait?
But why are you blaming me? I mean, like I said a while ago, I would have told her years ago if they hadn't kept her from me.
Desiree's story about how this whole situation impacts her family is really heavy. And trust me, the next part is about to get even more emotional.
And now you have to live with the fact that you don't know that.
We've never been really close. That was the way that we were close. That it was the connection that we had. We could always say that our Bubba, yeah, he's our Bubba, but we're closer. We have that bigger connection because we do share the same mother and the same father. So I feel like in a way it kind of broke a connection that we had.
Out of the blue, Judge Lake brings in Dr. B, a DNA expert, to break down the paternity science. Everyone's on edge as we get closer to the big reveal.
It's heartbreaking to the point that I feel like I've been lied to my entire life. I've been my entire first 20 years as far as who my dad is has been one big lie.
Who do you call dad?
Steve.
Oh, you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you believe is your biological father?
In my heart, I feel like Steve is.
Even with the tension running high, Desiree tries to stay positive, saying she wants both brothers in her life. But just when things start to feel warm and fuzzy, her mom jumps in with a tearful confession.
It's a thing to do genetically to sort out which of the two is the true biological father. However, what we do at DNA Diagnostic Center in order to exclude one of the two individuals. And in this particular case, that's exactly what we did. We tested almost twice the number of samples of DNA that we normally test in order to exclude absolutely one of the two individuals.
Regardless of whichever it turns out is my dad, I still want a relationship with both of them. Just one is my uncle, one is my dad.
And you deserve that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Shockley, Steve Shockley, if the results show you are not her biological father, will you regret ever mentioning this to her?
No, everyone goes quiet as Judge Lake gets ready to announce the DNA results, and the room is completely still.
Explain it. I wouldn't like to be her dad because they've always had such a strong bond. Her growing up, I can't change the past. I'm sorry for a lot of things, but in my heart, I feel like Mike is her dad. I just want Desiree to get the answers that she needs.
I'm glad, because I want you to get the answer. The biological father is Mr. Steve Shockley.
Yes!
This situation is a real roller coaster, especially with Miss Hines spilling the tea on their Christmas Eve get-together. Get ready, because this back and forth is about to get even more intense.
Christmas Eve, we had sex in the car. After that, I told him that I was pregnant. He basically said that he gave me a Christmas gift because he didn't give me anything for Christmas.
More than likely, I always be with my family on Christmas because we have
this is
traditions.
Christmas Eve and not Christmas. We agreed to be with our family on Christmas.
Things take a wild turn when Mr. Jackson accuses Miss Hines of being with another guy. The story's already off the rails, but just wait. Mr. Jackson is about to throw even more shade her way.
I'm disagreeing on both behalves because she was living with another male, so it's kind of hard to judge her because
So while you all were in this relationship or just having sex in the car, she was in a relationship with somebody else.
Yeah, it was a relationship. She had another male living with her.
He doesn't hold back, claiming he snooped around her place and found a box of condoms. Just when you think it can't get any wilder, Mr. Jackson has even more dirt to dish out about her actions.
It was a time that I was snooping around the house, and because she says it was taking some stuff to store it. I seen a box, and in that box it was some condoms in the box, and I thought she was
So you thought at that point that man and her were having sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that is true.
Now it's Mr. Jackson's turn to play detective, revealing all the times he caught Miss Hines texting other guys. And trust me, He's got plenty more drama to share.
I was on vacation one time, like I was snooping around and I got a phone and I seen like was texting numerous people. So I had snooped and went through one of the texts and I seen like she was texting this guy and he was like calling her bouncy.
You're doing a lot of snooping.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're snooping,
Yeah,
why are you even
absolutely.
with her then?
I've just seen so many things that seem shady.
He's calling me whore or hoe, whatever, sleeping around. But that's what he's been doing since we got together.
So from the looks of these messages, it seems like you entertaining these women.
The reason why I did what I did because like she had messages in her phone from her other fella that was talking about working on their relationship.
Things heat up when Mr. Jackson says her chats with her ex made him feel insecure. If you thought that was the climax, think again. It's about to get even messier.
No, she's been pretty much taking care of him by herself with my assistance, her mother, no help from him. I do most of the babysitting.
This woman is
He's paid
irrelevant.
me twice for babysitting. $10 a piece, both times. I'm more of a father to this child than he is.
Mr. Jackson, did you go to any doctor's appointment?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Were you there at the birth?
Not at the birth, but I came after the birth.
And when you saw the baby, what did you feel?
I really didn't feel a connection because like he didn't have really much of my features and I seen that he had like a blondish orange hair and that's just not my family.
Okay,
so
but
I had
you
a
didn't
reason
feel
of
a
doubt right
connection
there.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take the paternity test when she offered to pay for it?
Miss Hines' best friend jumps in, and wow, she doesn't hold back at all. The court isn't buying Mr. Jackson's side of the story, and everyone's on edge waiting to see what excuse he'll come up with next.
My son needs a father. He needs to know who his people is, where he comes from. It ain't just me. Like, we have no boys in our family. Like, he got little cousins he could play with. Like, after today, he still don't have to be in his son's life. It's fine, but I need him to know and his people to realize that you do have a son.
Miss Hines gets really emotional, explaining that Moss deserves to know his family, especially since he doesn't have other boys around. This really hits home for the court, but before anyone gets too sentimental, Judge Lake turns to Mr. Jackson for his response.
Is found to be your biological child.
My intentions, I would love to have a son because I have a daughter already. I don't really get to spend much time with her, and because she's out of the city, and like at least try to make things work out with Rachel. But these accusations and the things that I've seen in the past was holding me back.
The judge asked Mr. Jackson what he'd do if Moss turns out to be his son. He hesitates, saying he'd want to be involved if he is the dad. It's a pivotal moment, but with the DNA test looming, things are about to get even more intense.
Mr. Jackson, you are Matthias's father.
At least like if I can get a